You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of the M.T.V.B. podcast. The podcast that talks about my four favourite subjects. That's movies,
TV shows,
video games,
and board games.
I'm your host, Anthony Spottis. People know me as the Ant-Man, and welcome. This week's episode is a TV episode. We're going to be talking about our top 5 TV cliffhangers of all time. I'm joined around the table by the guys who love to talk about TV cliffhangers. Introduce yourselves around the table, please.
Hey guys, it's Gal, aka Grey Fox.
Hi guys, it's John Whiff, aka JK.
And finally, it's me, Dave. Or should I say, aka Dave's evil mustachioed twin.
Rock God Dave's in the building.
Yay!
Hi guys.
Do you like the mustachio?
I think he can pull it off, but it does look like a bit like a pedo butt.
Whoa! This is you using my own joke I just said about that, trying to put it on me.
But no, this looks good.
Apart from the paedophile thing you said.
Yeah.
You're going to get it this
I'm
episode.
sorry, man.
You'll go get it. You're right in
Started
my
already,
view as
and
well.
we're not even a
Like a
minute
peanut.
into the episode.
He looks like a redneck. That's what it looks like.
Have you seen my neck?
No.
It's
Some
far
people
from
don't.
bread. Anyway, TV cliffhangers, guys. How was your list for the top 5 TV cliffhangers of all time?
Easy.
Easy for you? I struggled with this one. I'll give you that.
I struggled for about 5 minutes.
It was all right, but some of them, the ones that I was getting, was I've previously talked about on the previous episode, so that was a bit of a challenge. But apart from that, it's okay.
Okay.
But these are
But
moments.
you're confident with it, though?
Yes.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, I like
Sorry,
that.
Dave, you were saying?
I was just going to say these are moments that you remember, aren't they? These particular cliffhangers are things that you, if you think back to a TV series, they stick in your head. And then so for me, it was quite easy to just think back of like, oh, what's made me sitting on my sofa go, no way.
No fucking way.
I've got to wait a week for this next episode.
Yeah.
Serious.
Well, the days when you had to wait a week.
I'm probably going to be like, oh my God, I forgot about this, but
Nah, we're all going to have the same, I reckon.
you reckon?
Yeah,
I think there might be a couple that people don't know about as well.
I mean, spoilers. I was very busy at work today and forgot that we were doing a podcast, so I quickly cobbled 5 together. So, yeah, but I've got 5 anyway. So
this
all
is a
we need.
professional outfit.
no, normally I am quite on the ball, but I was without.
He's
it
a
today.
busy man.
I was a busy man today.
So we need the listeners to listen out and then comment on any social media platforms about John's poor performance in
yeah,
this
my
episode.
poor performance. I'm going to be a 3 out of 10 today. I think. Sorry.
3?
But you still made an episode, that's what counts, man.
Yes,
you're here.
exactly. Yes, I'm here.
So for all the noobs out there that don't know what TV show cliffhangers are, explain what a TV cliffhanger is.
A cliffhanger in a TV show is a dramatic moment or a suspenseful moment that leaves the viewer wanting more.
Of course.
Aching to see what's going to happen.
In the next episode.
Oh, blue balls.
Yeah.
Itching for the next episode like a penis with an STD.
Or even itching for next season.
my
Some of them do that
God.
at the end as
Yeah.
well.
Exactly.
brilliantly.
Yeah. Somewhere.
Or a moment that just makes your jaw drop to the floor.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like you say, because it's something you don't expect. You know, like G just said. Usually, at the end of episodes. Sometimes they're toward the beginning of episodes. So, But yeah,
and then sometimes you get those weird little situations where it does something at the beginning and then goes 24 hours earlier.
Yeah,
so you've kind of got
I hate those episodes.
a cliffhanger that goes over an episode.
So many of them, isn't there?
Do you like cliffhangers? Just before we get
That's
going?
actually the next question.
Oh,
I like cliffhangers, but I don't like ones. I don't like episodes when you see something and then it goes, 24 hours earlier. I was like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
like a flashback.
That is annoying. To be honest.
I get that. I mean, I'd rather be left waiting till next week's episode or whatever to find out rather than they sort of show you and then go back. So,
So it's basically like end of the show is a cliffhanger, and the beginning of the next episode,
exactly.
you're like, come on, let's do this.
Do you remember where TV shows couldn't leave in a cliffhanger, but they would have to be continued at the end?
Yeah.
And you'd still be like, I really want to see the next episode.
Yeah.
But like when Tommy became the Green Ranger and like to be continued, like what?
Little 2-parter episodes.
That's it. It was, wasn't it?
And they were usually on TV series where like each episode had its own little self-contained story, weren't they? Mm-hmm. One of mine is a good example of that. So I'm going to talk about it now.
Look forward to that. Mm-hmm. What about you, Gal? Do you like cliffhangers?
Yeah, I think it's. Sorry, let me clear my throat.
It's got a frog in it at the moment.
It depends. Like if the cliffhangers are really good and all the seasons out, and I'll just plow through them the whole season, watch it. If that's how they get me.
Yeah.
But I'll be more annoyed about it where like it's a brand new series and it finishes on a cliffhanger and you have to wait a year or two for the next one. I'll just be like, oh man. Whereas it's the series is finished and you can quickly binge. Essentially, I think that's what it's for. I feel like cliffhangers make you want to binge the series.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah,
it's to get you hyped for the next episode or the next season or whatever.
Keep getting you to watch it, isn't it?
Like you said, the days where you had to wait months for the next season or whatever are kind of gone now.
Yeah, I mean they still do that.
They tend to put the whole season on, and you just binge it the whole lot. So
no, but if there's a new series, you're going to have to wait regardless, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's go opposite with that then, and go with: do you like a TV show, but you didn't like the cliffhanger to it? Do you still continue with that series?
Yeah, if I've invested enough time watching the program in the first place, then yeah. It depends. I don't know. I was going to say that some of the cliffhangers they aren't as much of a cliffhanger to some people. Like it depends on the series, I suppose.
It can vary depending on what you're watching.
I'll be honest. There's a couple of seasons where I've stopped.
Yeah.
Like Homeland, for example. I don't know if it's on anyone's list, but the story sort of ended after season 3 for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really think the cliffhanger helped to continue the series. I think it just ended there, so I've never really bothered with it.
That's not necessarily a cliffhanger, though, is it? That's the you checked out with the story then.
True, yeah, but then they've what I'm saying, they've got a fan base to go, we've got another series, so they threw in a cliffhanger, and that's what I'm saying. I wasn't invested with that to carry on with it. That's what I'm trying to get at.
They're just trying to obviously keep you engaged, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a fan of the cliffhanger, but then I quite like consuming. I like having a little break in between. I don't like to binge something in one day.
Yeah,
get it over and done with. I like to go away after watching an episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Digest what's just happened. Sort of think about it. Imagine where it's going, things like that. And a good cliffhanger, one that's not a bit of a sucker punch. I really like it because it gets me wanting more, and then I'll be sort of going to work thinking, I can go home tonight and find out what's going to happen at the end.
Yeah, okay. So it's something to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm not a big binge watcher, so I like even if I can watch, like John was saying, even if I can watch it all in one go, I tend to space it out.
I wish I could binge watch nowadays. I don't think I could. I don't get a chance to be honest.
Can a cliffhanger also be, those movies or TV shows where they leave you to decide for is it? Or is it
that's
not?
a cliffhanger.
Can you say?
Yeah. So Inception would be the example of that.
So that's essentially like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, because you're not getting a resolution. You're not getting it fed to you, are you? So you're kind of left.
It's left to your own. It's left to your own brain, isn't it, to work out whether the person died or not.
But you're never going to get
or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Full closure. So you are kind of left on that cliff edge, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say I quite enjoy cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Some are better than others, obviously. So,
yeah, well, you have to do it so it doesn't feel cheap, I think.
I mean,
so
sometimes
it doesn't feel just thrown in to literally force your audience to have to watch it again. If it's if you're that gripped by a story and then it's done well, it's like I say, it's like an oh my god moment. You're like, I've got to watch what
the next show. Yeah, that's
yeah.
ultimately the best cliffhanger for me. Like if you watch an episode, you're like, oh yeah, and then like, oh my god, what the fuck? I need to watch the next one right now.
Yeah, that's what we're actually going to touch up on the next question now. So cliffhangers don't necessarily have to be at the end of a series. They could be just happen at the end of a regular episode. So if you ever had a so you're watching a show, for example, but you got to be up early the next morning. Have you ever had a cliffhanger that makes you want to click that next episode then and there, and you stay up later for it? Or like Dave, he's not much of a binge watcher, so he might savor it. But for yourself, Gal, would you click that next episode because you need to know what happens next? Or
there's been few, like some of them on the list definitely.
So like, look, you watch one more hour.
I have done before. I have done in the past.
I think I've done one. I'm still in two minds of putting it on my list because it's got a really shitty ending, like it's final season. Spoilers. But I actually started watching it when I was on holiday, and it was literally after like the day is done on holiday. I would just sit down with my mate and we just watched that into the late hours. Like one after that, I was like, how have I not watched this? Like he'd been trying to get me to watch it, but I think I must have finished almost a season or two just on my holiday. Like I know it sounds boring, but I didn't plan on doing that. But I was just like, oh my god, this is actually really good.
Like, Dad, spend time with me. And you're like,
no, it was with my mates
before you were into.
That was with my mates when I went. Yeah.
And John, you said you have done as well, yeah.
I think
I've
he's done it loads of time. I remember him telling me. Watched it. Look at his time. It's 4:00, and he's got to wake up work.
This is the man who used to have a massive hard drive full of just TV shows on it.
He
used to have like a fuck ton of episodes on that thing.
Yeah, I've got a lot of the British comedies. I've got the entire seasons of them on a hard drive at home. So I mean, I've often been watching 3 or 4 episodes, and it's like you get to the point, and it's like G just said, you get like really late at night, you've got to get up in the morning, but it's like you just got to watch that one last episode because you've got to get that bit more of that story, you know.
Then you come into work the next day, and go, did you watch it last night? And fucking spoil the shit out of it.
No, I did not.
But I am Dominator.
See, that's the problem I have. Because I'll space it out, and then you guys, particularly, you'll be like, "Oh, did you hear what happened in this?" And I'm like, "No, there's a very interesting twist at the end."
Oh no! Now I know there's a twist. Nice. I'm gonna get one more question. So cliffhangers, you have a regular, and you have. Sorry, I'll start again. So regular cliffhangers are, like Dave said, they itch you on to get the next episode or next season done with. Do you prefer those, or do you prefer a cliffhanger that leaves you surprised and you didn't guess it was coming?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like them to be too obvious because when you get the answer to the cliffhanger in the next episode or the next season or whatever, and it is exactly what you thought it would be, I think to me it kind of spoils it.
Okay. But say like there was literally an ending that you never saw coming, like, okay, Darth Vader was also, Leia's dad or something because they were twins. What the fuck? Yeah. You never saw it coming. Does it make you want, fuck it, I want the next season now? Yeah. Or I want to,
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting at. Because a regular one is just like, I've got to wait another year for the next series now. Yeah. Whereas one surprisingly that surprised you more because you didn't get it. You're like, no way.
Yeah, there's one in my top 5 like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I love a surprise.
Yeah.
I like to be taken unawares in that sort of, and surprised by something. Because I tend to find I'm already thinking what it could be kind of thing. So if something really comes out, and there's one on my list, completely blindsided me, and I was like, again, it's like I said earlier, jaw dropping.
This is on your list.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, and you're just like, I cannot believe that. So when it comes out of something, a TV series that's not known for because we can probably spoil lists by saying certain TV series which there's like a cliffhanger every other episode or something throughout a long series. If you get a surprise one in a TV series that hasn't really done them as such.
Yeah.
But in a way, they can do the opposite as well. They can be like, oh, wait, is it going to happen? Oh, no, they haven't. It keeps you kind of on the edge
I'm just saying I personally like the surprise one.
Yeah, same. I'll probably say the surprise, but what's more effective for me was if it surprised me, but then you rewatch it or something, or someone points out, oh, did you know?
Oh, and you meant to signal it before, dumbass.
He's not going to give a fact. He's just talking.
No, it's not a fact anyway. And then it's like there was breadcrumbs all along the season. I think that gives a better effect as well.
Yeah, that kind of ties into like a reveal or a twist. Though I think we're strayed a bit into twist. Territory with that one. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, I'd love it if there's been foreshadowing before,
and it's just like,
so that you could, and you so I'm going to go a bit off topic here. Talk about a game. Just replaying the Dead Space. Remake, and weirdly listening to when you guys were talking about it before it came out on one of the previous episodes. Third-person shooters, top 5. Oh, little plug there. I'm just re-listening.
Little plug there, listening.
And as I'm playing it, I'm just like, there's foreshadowing for the twist in that, where it's Nicole, isn't it? His wife doesn't actually exist. And I was playing the remake back, and now knowing that that is at the end, and you've got at points he's talking to his other crew members on the little, their image pops up in front of him.
That's right, yeah.
And on the text, the subtitle text, it says, have you found Nicole yet? And then, or I haven't been able to trace Nicole's, suit. But if you listen to what's actually being played audio, it's, I haven't reached suit yet. So it's staticked out.
Okay.
So the subtitles are almost like what Isaac said. So anyway, out of subject. Cool. But stuff like that, foreshadowing, I'm all for. I was like, damn, that's so good.
Nice. So because you knew the ending, though, was you looking for it?
Yeah, I'm appreciating it. Obviously, I missed it the whole first time.
Sure.
But in the same with TV series and cliffhangers, if it is subtly trailed up to when you watch it, that rewards you for watching it back again. Yeah. Maybe not binge watching it, maybe just going back, I haven't seen that in a while. I'll go back and watch that a bit slower and take it in a bit more. And then that rewards you a second time and a new way of doing it, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's a good shout. I'm out of questions on there. If anyone has anything else, we'll just go straight to the top 5s.
Let's do this.
Ready, John? He's still writing his 5.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah?
He's falling asleep over there.
No, go on.
Let's do it then.
It's time for a top 5.
So normal rules as usual. If you don't know if we clash, then obviously you'll get your own chance. You're throwing your 2 cents. And of course, if we don't mention your cliffhanger on the episode, there's shitloads to go through, and if you don't like it, get your own fucking podcast. Number 5.
Number 5.
I love that bit.
And obviously some of these are going to be end of the series cliffhangers.
Yeah, this is going to be a big spoiler.
This is a massive spoiler, isn't it? So
yeah, I'm gonna leave a pause after I say what it is, because then if you are really behind
let's
the times,
all do that, yeah.
You can skip forwards
exactly. Yeah. So we'll say what it is. 2 seconds gap, and then
you need a spoiler alert button on that.
I do have it, but then I changed it over, so I've completely forgot to get ready. Spoiler. Let's do that. So, who would like to go first?
I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take make John go last because he's still writing his.
Yeah. I'll go first. I'll be.
Right. You're going to be into it anyway.
Well, we can just skip him if we need to. So
I'm sure they want to listen to my 5.
So, ladies, and we always want to listen to your 5.
We always want to listen. Do you know why?
I like it. Yeah.
Integral part. So, my number 5 is The Simpsons, specifically the episode titled "Who Shot Mr. Burns?"
It's my number 5, so I'll join you.
Yeah, it's one of my honourable mentions.
So,
go ahead.
When I sat down to write all this, I was like, no one's going to have thought of The Simpsons for cliffhangers, and I thought I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be so niche and no one else is going to get it, are they? And then when I said to Ant earlier, then I went on the internet to find out the names of all the episodes, and I had a quick look for honourable mentions. All my list is so predictable, and everyone else on the internet seems to. So sorry if you feel like that, but I did think of them all myself.
No, I mean, Who Shot Mr. Burns? Have you ever lived through it when you were a kid? It was massive.
I was a kid when I first watched this, and The Simpsons is not a TV series known for cliffhangers or stories that go, over one episode. Really, are they? It's sort of.
But the interesting thing you said is did they make when they made it out like so many people killed him because they're the one
that was going to be my did you know? Damn it!
Oh shit! Sorry,
spoiling it already. Anyway, so. Anyway, so yeah.
So,
did you know that they made multiple episodes with tons and tons of other Simpsons characters that
sorry, man.
Yeah, wasn't it different endings of who shot him, wasn't it?
I think they show it later on, don't they?
That's how fucking secret this thing was, wasn't it? It was just no one to know.
It was like the first time that I can remember that Simpsons had done like something that was like almost like a world-changing thing, because, it all ends and then they're back to the same on the show for the next time. There's no consequences as they're carried over. So to have that when I was younger and see, like, and there was a bit of talk about it, like, oh, this is a two-parter, and like, who shot Mr. Burns? Like, there's no, lead up towards it that you can sort of deduce, is there? It's literally he just staggers out, falls on a sundial in a particular way, having been shot, and then it's like everyone was like, oh, who shot Mr. Burns? They're going to kill, what? Ooh, and it was like a big murder mystery.
It was. I remember when Sky recommended you recorded the episode, right? And they say you need to rewatch it because there are clues in this episode that shows you this. And I think there's only one, which is what you said about the sundial.
He points
That's literally
it. He points to west and south with his arms.
That's right. Yeah.
Which. Spoilers alert.
Wayland Smithers.
Yeah. Well, everyone thought, Wayland Smithers. Turns out it's not. Spoilers alert. It is Maggie Simpson.
It is, yes. It was.
Shot by a baby. Although this is like...
if you had your way, though, who would you have had shot Mr. Burns?
Oh, Hans Moleman. Just because Hans Moleman.
I'm 31 years old.
I remember watching that, but I can't remember the whole.
Oh, it was huge, man.
He's trying to steal candy from a baby because he'd heard it was easy, but he's struggling to get the lollipop off of Maggie, and he reaches into the footwell, picks up Homer's gun, and just shoots him. So.
But you're right. No, they talking about going back to multiple endings. They show it on like a clip.
Yeah, they
episode.
do. Like,
and it's like everyone has different types of guns. Yeah. But Mr. Burns has the same reaction. So if it's a shotgun, a minigun.
Yeah, it's McBain at one point, isn't it? Like, with a minigun.
So good. It was such a great cliffhanger.
But it was so out of nowhere as well at the time. If you're old enough, if you're a dinosaur like we are, that. You remember that going actually out on TV?
Yeah.
When, the internet wasn't full of spoilers and...
Yeah, it wasn't around to do it for at the end of the day.
If you haven't watched it, there'll be a meme out of it already.
Well, there are TV series which have... I think, what was that cop one recently? There was a cop TV show that had James something in it as the bad guy. Happy Valley? I think that was really recent. The newest series of that. I can't remember the actress's name, but it's a female lead. And I remember reading in the build up to the last episode of that coming out, they actually filmed like 5 different endings because there was, again, I haven't seen it, so it can't appear on my list. But there was so much hype around it. I remember reading it even in mainstream news outlets and things. There was so much hype around that they filmed multiple endings, so even the actors couldn't spoil it and couldn't say, go home to the wife and be like, guess who killed so-and-so.
Yeah, because when editing it, you wouldn't know what ending they would pick, would they? So,
exactly, yeah. So, and like I say, it was just so out of nowhere, and it was just really gripping, The Simpsons. Oh my God,
everyone wanted to know. I remember when that happened, there was actually a bookies... We're doing bets on who shot Mr. Burns. That's how big this thing was. Yeah. It was crazy. I remember when, because like you said, this was the end of the season as well. So we had to wait another year to find out who shot Mr. Burns. Yeah. And it was, going back to what I was saying about recording that episode, I actually recorded it. And then there were kids in my class that wanted to watch the episode and try and crack who shot Mr. Burns. Damn good pick.
But he doesn't die though, right?
No, he doesn't. No, he survives. He gets. Yeah, but the mystery is he wakes up, doesn't he? And he can't remember who shot for most of the episode.
And all he says is Homer Simpson.
Yeah, Homer. And they're like, "Excuse me, sir, can you tell me what happened?" Homer Simpson. Homer Simpson. Yeah. So they stretch
you remember my name now, do you? Yeah. Homer Simpson.
Yeah. So they stretch it right out. Go watch it if you're young and you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But it was an event. It was one of my first that I can remember TV events, cliffhanger, where I wanted, I was like, like Ant said, I've got to wait ages now to find out. I really want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was probably my second. My number one is my first ever cliffhanger, which obviously we'll go into later.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was just... I remember when that Sky TV guy, we used to get one every month. It was like your Radio Times for Sky. Yeah. And then Who Shot Mr. Burns come out, and it was literally his head in the corner with all the Simpsons characters at the bottom. And I was like, yes, it's coming out, part 2's coming. Yeah. We're going to find out. Such a monumental moment in TV history.
And a perfect example of a good sort of cliffhanger, a whodunit.
Yeah,
a classic
absolutely.
whodunit. Find out
That's
who the
all it
bad
took.
guy is. So yeah, that's my number 5.
And my number 5.
And Ant's number 5, Simpsons. Who shot Mr. Burns?
Over to Biggest Gears. So remember, say what it is and gap for 2 seconds. Ready?
So say that again. So I'm going to say it.
So you're going to say it, then you're going to gap quietly for 2 seconds so people can skip the
All right,
spoiler,
cool.
yeah?
My number 5 is Lost.
Which part of Lost?
Which part of Lost? Which season?
You can pretty much say it all.
Yeah.
No. The reason you pick it is for a
But
specific one.
you've got to do the bit of it that...
Probably the opening of the hatch.
So it's the end of season one.
One.
Yeah.
Probably, I think that's where...
Is that when the light beamed up?
Yeah, so they dig a hole, I can't remember for what reason, and then there's like a hatch, and then I think they do it just before the season ends, and then at the end of the season, it finishes on the hatch, and it says a light inside.
That's right, yeah.
And, you know...
What did you... When you first watched it, what did you think was in there?
I was just bamboozled by then, because you had all these other things going on, and then I couldn't tell you. I don't know what was in there.
But everyone thought it was something to do with the black smoke and all this other stuff.
You had all
and
these
it's
other
like,
things going on. So someone said this generally about this show. Like, I think they generally just did anything, and then they were just trying to tie things up. But I don't think that's valid, because it is quite a good TV show. But it does feel like that when you watch it. I think I watched it twice. But yeah, that for me, that moment was. I would say that's my first. Like in the previous episodes, I've said like I wasn't much of a TV show. Like I don't watch consecutively like shows after this is when I was like delving into TV shows. But for me, that moment, because obviously I was Gokul will be on the phone to me as well. Like, oh, did you watch that episode? What do you think? It was like proper geeky, and that moment was just like, whoa! Like I think in a way how Simpsons was for you, this was for me. It was like, my God, like, you know, what is going on? What does the numbers mean? Why are they on the? You know, it was those sort of things.
I told you this a while ago on an episode that I had to be on the radio because of that ending. They were like, "Oh, what do you reckon?"
Oh,
do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen it. I can't remember that. I think it was Radio Mercury at the time, so this is a while ago. Yeah.
It's gone back.
And I remember them telling me. I was on the phone with them. They're like, "Oh, what do you reckon's in John Locke's bag?" And I don't know. It could be anything because I hadn't seen it. I hadn't watched Lost at the time.
Oh, right.
I didn't know who John Locke was at the time. Yeah. So and they were like, "Do you think it's knives in there, Anthony?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it could be."
The good thing is, you could have said anything.
Exactly.
And they probably would have gone, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Exactly.
And going back to your question,
You could have said a polystyrene bust of Tony Blair, and they'd have gone, "Oh, that's so good."
Oh, did you not win something from it though? Or
no, so basically, so this was when we were Blockbusters. Radio Mercury came into the shop quite early and gave us all donuts. And they were like, "Oh, if we leave these here, will someone be on the show just to talk about the season finale of Lost tonight?" Yeah. And again, no one had seen it. We were renting the first half of the box set because it was in 2 halves. Yeah. So they picked us, and I was like, "You know what? I'll just do it. I'll just wing it, whatever." And then they were asking, and I was just like playing along. I was like, "Yeah, it could be that." So it was the worst radio interview ever.
God. But did they think that you might have known, or
they probably thought I was watching it because I was the one who was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So they probably
he
thought
hyped himself up. He was like, "Yeah, I'll know it."
All that for a free donut.
I'll tell you what, though, and also having worked in Blockbusters myself, those Lost TV box sets were a pig to find because somebody always put them in the wrong space, and they were scratched to buggery because the amount of people that rented those box sets out, man, that was big.
Because again, it was on Channel 4 at the time, but people didn't really watch it until someone else mentioned it, and then they're like, "Well, I'm going to go back and watch it."
And there was a lot of people going to like their mums or something, or their aunties going like, "Go and watch it." It's really good.
This is before we had 4 on demand and
rewatchability. That's what I'm saying. So people's watched it, and they're like, they said there's something like Ant does, where he will watch it and he will get us to watch it and see our reactions, and that's sort of show that
exactly, and then
with.
talk about it afterwards for hours.
Actually, I'm going to go back to Dave. Was you satisfied with your cliffhanger? So Maggie, was you satisfied that Mr. Burns was that?
Yeah.
Was you satisfied with what was in the hatch?
I thought you were going to say the ending. Yeah, I didn't see that, like, what was in there and who.
No, but was you satisfied when they finally opened and you saw Benjamin was in there?
Yeah, I was.
Was you happy that you weren't going to be like, it's not another demon or it's not a polar bear or something in there?
No, I was quite happy.
It wasn't Benjamin, was it? It was,
that Australian guy.
No, it was the Scottish guy, wasn't it?
Oh, the Scottish guy, yeah.
Benjamin.
Was he called Benjamin?
Oh, no, Benjamin was the
bad. He was the other.
No, he was the other. Oh, fuck,
It's the Scottish guy.
Yeah,
he has his one of my favourite episodes
with
him
brother.
where he does a little...
Do you want him to die? Yeah. Lower your gun or blow his damn head off, brother. Fuck, what was he called?
I can't remember. Google it, John.
I think.
I'll look, because you're next, John. You're next.
Am I?
Oh,
Desmond.
That's what I said. I thought it began with a D.
Desmond,
John.
Yeah,
but that show is like I chose it. It was not just specifically on that moment. The whole show is full of like.
It's an example of what I was saying about there were twists and turns and cliffhangers every other episode.
Yeah.
And that
So that's how I've chosen my list. But obviously,
I'm interested you chose that one, and I'll explain for why later. Little cliffhanger.
I honestly thought you were going to pick the
show. Wow.
The end of the first episode, because that leaves on such a great cliffhanger when you've got the guy from Lord of the Rings in it, and he's just like, after all these events Charlie, that's it, Charlie, he they have the black smoke and they have this monster that's going around killing people, and then polar bears, and then at the very end he's like, where are we? That's such a great cliffhanger. That's only at the end of the first episode.
Also, one of my saddest TV moments I remember, because we were watching that, and that bit where he gets, again, spoiler alerts, when he's in the underwater facility.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
it's not Penny's boat.
He writes that on his hand and puts it up on the window as he's drowning. I was like, that. I was so upset at that. I love Charlie.
There's so many good bits in that, man. Yeah. Even I think I was close to even putting when they meet the French lady and the radio's going.
Oh yeah.
Remember the radio signal? What was that all about? That was quite mind blowing for me. It was just
there is
going on.
There's loads to go, mate, but it does answer. But some people were unsatisfied with it.
I was unsatisfied by the ending, but don't get me wrong, I was so hooked and hyped about that.
We all were.
4 or 5 series,
and also it did that annoying thing. I think in season 4 where it goes flash forward. It's like what we were talking about earlier.
And flashbacks.
All of them from season 5 it's flash forward because they go back in time. That's when again the writer's strike kicked in and fucked everything up.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else on that, sir?
No, that's it. I think we've talked about it extensively in previous episodes. So
So we'll move to Johnny number 5.
You'll have to flesh all this out for me.
It's his list, but
if we know what it is, then yes,
I'll tell you. It's my number 5 is when Negan captures Rick's guy.
Nice
in Walking Dead.
Yeah, when
and kills someone who we don't know who it is at the time.
That was
a good
you're
shout.
supposed to leave a spoiler.
That's a good shout.
Well, I am, because I haven't said who it was that he killed. But,
we meant to say Walking Dead.
Sorry.
But don't worry. Sorry. Okay. But no, that's a good shout because he hits someone. It's from a POV shot, isn't it?
Yeah. And he tells them he's going to kill. He's going to because they've done a raid and whatever. He said, "One of you, I'm going to have to beat one of you to death." With Lucille, the bat.
Yeah. 2 of them. He beats 2 people.
Yeah, but he says 1, but he does do 2. But he's going round, and the camera is watching him as he's going round,
and it shows a shot of everyone's face, and
then all of a sudden this bat just goes whack,
and it doesn't let you know who it is. Does it? That episode is called,
the next one you find out who it was.
That episode's called Last Day on Earth.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it was going to be on my list.
Oh wow,
yeah, but I
but it's not on the list.
No, it dropped off. It was into honourable mentions because. But yeah, and for me, and the only reason this dropped off into honourable mentions for me is because I'd read the comic books.
Okay.
I know the TV series varies quite wildly, but I already knew it was coming, so the impact was lessened a bit. I imagine if you'd have gone into that blind and they're all kneeled up and you think, how are they going to get out of this? There's got to be a way they can get out of this. A zombie's going to pop up and attack, and they'll all get to run off and that, and then suddenly like, oh, no.
Shit.
He's clattering someone with a bloody spiked baseball bat.
Yeah.
But it's...
See, I hadn't read the comics, so of course I went in blind then, and like you said, any moment you think, at any moment now, someone's going to come and save them, a zombie's going to come out of somewhere, and they don't, and he just whacks. I think, oh my god!
I think, it's been such a long time since I've read or watched it, but I think what caught me out is because in the comic books, I think he beats the ginger-haired guy. I can't remember his name.
Does it in the show as well,
with the moustache. No, but I think it's just him. He only beats one of them to death.
When the comics.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the surprise for us
was the other guy.
Was the fact that was more it got the other guy who everyone cared about a lot.
Yeah. So
But what I like about that, it's It's Glenn, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what I liked about it, a couple of episodes before that episode, we thought he already died because there's an episode where we think he gets ripped up by zombies, and it's not. It's a person on top of them. And so
that was a good.
That was clever. That was clever.
Again, that was another cliffhanger.
What season is that? That's
season 6.
6, I think.
Yeah, it's quite late.
That was at the height of Walking Dead. And then
100%. Walking Dead smashed it up until like the part where they were going to try and kill Negan for 5 seasons. It's like it just carried on and boring.
The problem with the Walking Dead is I think they dragged that on too much. There's only so many big.
I think
bad
season 8. I think I left off
keep.
around about season 8. I think, and then I never really went back to Alpha. I think I caught up around about season 10 or 11, and I should really go back and just bad and all as season 8 might be. I should really go back and just watch it properly.
It just goes through the same cycle,
exactly.
doesn't it? Let's find somewhere safe.
I lost.
Oh no, there's some humans who are really bad that are going to try. We're going to have to battle with for a few seasons. Then we triumph. Then we have to move somewhere else because we destroyed.
Well, no, some Walking Dead fan apparently said if you watch episode,
this is what I was going to quote.
season 9, episode 1,
right,
and skip it all to season 11, which is the last season, final episode, nothing happens.
Oh, really? Oh,
nothing's changed at all.
So I've kind of seen it all in, basically.
Because I think we mentioned Walking Dead in an episode like last season of M.T.V.B, and I started to go back and watch season 9 because that's where I actually left off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good fucking God, this is why I left in the first place.
Yeah.
But early on, that was good.
Yeah,
100%.
Up until
mate, 100%. Yeah, I freaking loved it.
I'd say the first 6 seasons for me were probably the best. Seasons 7 and 8 were starting to tail off a bit.
Yeah.
And that's when I left off. Then I didn't watch it.
And
the original,
nothing's kind of replaced that for me. I mean, I've seen a fair amount of Korean ones, but nothing like as much as to Walking Dead.
Nothing as much as Walking Dead as gripped. Yeah, I think for me, big bad for me, the original one, the Governor.
Yeah, I actually smacked him in the face. Did I ever tell you that?
Did you?
No. Yeah.
What?
So the actor who plays him, I can't remember the Neil something.
I don't even know if I want to have this explained because in my head this is going to be way better than it is.
It's brilliant because I actually smacked him around the face. Didn't mean to.
Yeah, but I'm imagining you walking out to go, "Hey, Governor!"
No. This was before he was the governor. He was actually going out to shoot for the governor. But at the time he come through Gatwick, he was in a movie called Basic Instinct 2.
Oh, wow. Okay,
I was like, this lucky guy got to shag Sharon Stone. Anyway, he obviously I work at Gatwick where I have to body search passengers and whatnot, and he alarmed the gate, so I had to search him. So as I've swiped one of his arms, he looked down. So where's my arms come across, I've smacked him around the face, and I don't mean just smack. I hit him hard.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And I apologised, and he had the faces to say, no, it's my fault, but he still looked a bit moody with it. And I was like, and then I didn't know he was going to do
of course not,
this show. And then when he was like, the guy, holy fuck, I smacked the governor around the face. Holy shit.
That's amazing.
And he is a fucking brilliant villain in that. He's one of my favourites in that, 100%.
I reckon he's better than Negan. I
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I mean, Negan is good, but
I think they dragged
Negan
out.
Yeah, they dragged him out big time. But the book does as well, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, just the bit I loved, I think, the most in Walking Dead was the bit where those random raiders kidnap them. And they're holding them over the trough. They're going to cut all their throats, bleed them out.
Oh, that's Terminus or something, is it?
Terminus. Yeah.
Terminus,
and they're going to eat them.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember who it is, but they're already infected.
Yes, I remember.
No, Rick sees and it's the red-handed machete, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
And he's like, see that's what I'm going to kill you with. I'm going to kill you with that red-handled machete. You know, when he's about to die. I was like, that's so badass.
I remember watching that episode, and before we get to that scene, they were obviously eating a lot of meat. They were eating burgers and all that sort of stuff, aren't they?
People.
And then, he doesn't say, does it? It's not black and white. Yeah. So when Lou goes and they're about to kill him, it's like, oh my God, why are they doing that for? It's like, well, where do you think they're getting the meat from?
Yeah.
And it's like a big realization, like, oh fuck, that's true.
Deer, folks.
Yep, it ain't deer, yeah.
So Walking Dead season 7.
Last day on Earth.
Yeah.
Was you happy with the result of that cliffhanger?
Did it pay off?
Yeah. Did it pay off? Because it's a whole year till you find out who it was.
Yeah, because obviously you don't, like I say, you don't know who it's going to be. And I had hoped it was going to be one of them rather than just, we'll say, a minion. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you don't expect it to be one of the stars, but I was kind of secretly home. It's got to be one of the stars because if they're going to put that in there, it's got to be someone big.
But you didn't think it was going to be a fake out where he swings the bat down and it like lands just by someone's
head? No, I got the impression that he had actually killed someone. Yeah. But I was hoping it was going to be one of the cast. Do you know what I mean? Not just Mary Jo that helps them out. Sort of.
I was kind of annoyed.
So
Mary Jo.
But you know what I mean? Because you got Rick and all that. You got that initial group.
Well, Glenn was one of the original.
Yeah. So I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to be Glenn, but I was glad it was one of them. Do you know what I mean?
It makes the payoff more dramatic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like you say, you'd waited that long. If I had got to that point and then it turned out to be one of their group, I think I'd have been disappointed and thought, nah, do you know what? I'm not fucking watching it. They had their opportunity to make it a big star, and then they did, and that was the payoff. So yeah, I was quite surprised and glad.
You're off to a good start, John. Considering you did that in 5 minutes.
I know.
Good Googling while we were talking about ours.
Yeah, you got to flesh bits out, but yeah, I'm getting there. So yeah,
nice. Let's move to number 4s.
Number 4.
Back to the rock god himself.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my number 4 is Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Which one?
Best of Both Worlds, part 1.
Is on yours.
That's my number 3, I think.
You're the Star Trek fan out of all of us, aren't you? So,
I like Star Trek too.
I never knew that, John.
I do like it. I'm not a massive fan as like Star Wars.
I'm John.
I was,
But no, explain. So this is on your list, John?
Yeah.
What number is it on your list?
I hadn't given it a number, but say 4 then.
So you're saying 4, right?
I'm currently rewatching through all of the TNG stuff.
Really?
Yeah, because I watched Picard.
Yeah,
the series, and I just had that massive need for
you want your fix,
classic,
you want that old fix.
I want that classic good Next Generation, and Picard.
I watched every episode of that.
And I've talked about it before in the past. I used to come home from school and watch it, and it was good because each episode was its own little story and things like that. And I think I've mentioned it earlier on this episode.
There was quite a lot of family values, really.
Yeah, and it was, tackled lots of issues in a good way, which doesn't happen as much this day. Yeah, they try and tackle social issues these days, and they do it so ham-fistedly and ram it down your throat that it makes you switch off. But Star Trek was doing it well.
Yeah.
But Star Trek was never really massively, each episode's its own thing, much like The Simpsons and my number 5. And I mentioned it right at the beginning of the episode. So when you get these little part 1, part 2, and it's usually part 1, end of a series, part 2 at the beginning of the next series.
Yeah.
And it's like it felt sort of quite special for me when I was younger, like a crossover, like an extended episode, like, this is going to have consequences, this is going to be a hard hitter. They're not just going to travel back in time and piss around as a Western or something, or as Sherlock Holmes. And this one, I've always liked, and I don't know what John's opinion are, I've always loved the Borg.
Yeah, they're my favourite villains in that series.
As an enemy.
That's sci-fi.
And it's a very sci-fi thing, the cyborg, humans, assimilated, resistance is futile. Yeah. And I've always found that quite threatening.
Yeah, they're a unique villain, aren't they?
They're going to come out, they're quite unstoppable, they're quite tough. It's that hive mind
how they assimilated you as well, yeah.
And they're going to they roll up on your little planet where your outpost is, if you're a little
nothing you can do.
Starfleet, scientists going about your business. And then they absorb you into the Borg collective, and you become a drone. And they're quite threatening. Star Trek's quite nice and bright, and and then suddenly when you get an episode where it goes onto a Borg cube, for example, it's all dark and green, and there's lasers for the eyes, and they're quite threatening. And it's just a different. When I was younger, that was like one of the things that really pinged my.
Did it scare you at all?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, because it's a like I say, it's a sort of a theme that I find that just ticks some boxes for me. It's a threatening thing, being collected, taking what we as humans value most, our own individuality, what makes us.
Because they take on the memories of the person. Well,
you become a drone, don't you?
Exactly. And everybody gets it. It's like a hive of bees.
Yeah, you just become part of.
Everybody knows what the other is thinking. And that's what's so, like you say, that's what's so scary about it.
Dominated by the Borg Queen.
Yeah.
And in in this particular episode.
Cliffhanger one, yeah.
This is a big cliffhanger because the episode, I'm not going to go into too much detail about what happens in the episode, but it involves the Borg.
Yeah.
And they end up abducting Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
How dare they?
They capture Jean-Luc Picard. And at the end of the episode, he appears full Borg.
Yeah.
Like he's one of them.
On screen.
He has been assimilated. He's got like the eye like lens over, and he just walks in and he is like, I am Locutus of Borg, which means
resistance is futile.
Yeah, I am the one who speaks.
Yeah,
because the Borg don't tend to speak much, so he's like the mouthpiece that's going, and they're going to attack.
Yeah.
The Federation and things like that, and then we had to wait, and I was like, how what?
Yeah, that was the
it'd be a couple of years back then, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Well, I was just like, nah.
Yeah.
They've got Jean-Luc Picard. He's a baddie now.
Yeah.
What is this? How are they? Because they always
how are they going to continue with this?
They always manage to, there's not really many deaths. It's the old cliche, isn't it? It's just the if you know that you're a no-named like security team officer who gets beamed on an away party, that's a death sentence because they only kill off.
Red shirt
used to be the red shirts, but they're yellow in the next generation, aren't they? The security team, because you know if they get, you can see at the beginning of the episode,
one of them
they're
dead.
Yeah. They're going to die.
One of them's dying
because most of the time it's all named characters. They always find a way out.
There'll always be some engineer or someone that'll go with them, and right, he's going to die.
Yeah, he's going to get.
By the time they get beamed back up to the ship, he'll be dead.
But,
nearly every episode.
So to have one of the characters that sort of, and
he was the captain of the ship. Yeah, he's like the main man. So for them for them to kidnap him, he gets assimilated as a Borg. So he's like the second in command to the Borg now, to the Queen, and so he speaks for them. But the lead up to it was they get trapped by the Borg in like a nebula or something, don't they? Yeah. But they manage to escape because like the engineer and all that manage to put things together and they get away, and they come up with this idea to use. I think it's what they call their phaser array, and they do something. They overpower it, and the idea is that we can use this to blow up the ship. And when they come back and they realise that Picard's been assimilated, it's like shit. But we've got to destroy it. We've got to destroy it.
Familiar to
so they take
Battlestar.
But they take a shot. They take a shot at the ship, at the Borg ship, to destroy it, and it doesn't work because they've assimilated Picard, and Picard knew. Yeah,
they've got all his starship.
Oh my god, what are they going to do now?
Codes and things,
and he knows everything, sort of thing. So it's like shit.
He knows all the defense plans. Yeah. It's all that knowledge is just
because they're trying to take over Earth. They're trying to get to Earth.
So I want to know what happens then.
Go and watch it then.
This is what I mean. So for me, when I was younger, that was to see my favourite Starfleet captain out of all of them.
He is my favourite as well. Yeah, they got him.
To see him become the enemy, and you just think the ramifications of that. And what I like is as they go on throughout the rest of TNG, they always throw back to it. There's always little nods to him being.
Even First Contact, the film, which is my favourite Star Trek film, is nodded back to him, isn't it?
All this sort of, and I think they're even doing it in the new Picard.
They need to.
They sort of hint back to it.
I'm on this. The last episode comes out this week.
You can't have Picard without Locutus in there somewhere.
Well, they are linking back.
Spoiler! I don't know how far through Picard are you.
Well, I've got that. I'm up to date.
You're same as me.
But don't spoil it for listeners, man. But anyway. It just has ramifications.
There's a lot of references back to what we've said. So
it's a a
good way to end
cliffhanger, and God, does it leave you wanting more? You want to find out. Like G doesn't even watch Star Trek, and he wants to
watch it. Yeah,
he wants to find out what happens.
But didn't TNG used to have the most overdramatic to be continued song?
Yeah,
it was like dun ba 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 dun dun dun.
And it would just have space with to be continued in the Star Trek
178 episodes over 7 seasons.
Yeah,
and I've got them all on the hard drive.
Anyway,
I watched them all. I watched it, everyone.
So that is my number 4.
Yeah,
nice,
good call. Yeah.
And your number 4 as well, John.
Number 4, yeah.
I thought it was your number 3. You said.
Wow, it doesn't make
sense. He swapped it around.
Yeah,
make it even.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, if I said 3, then I wouldn't have a 3 for the next. So
yeah, stick with 4.
Yeah. So.
My number 3. You got me saying 3. My number 4. It's very short and sweet, and the reason I put it on there is because it was a bit of a shock factor for me at the time because I thought they were going to do change up the rules to this. So I've put on here, it is season 1's ending of Battlestar Galactica, the remake.
Ah, shit.
Nice.
Yeah. I haven't got it. No.
You haven't got it?
No.
But it's a very, very quick summary is that the Human Federation has found out that robots can look like humans. The whole series is about them trying to figure out which 7 certain Cylons look like humans. When they figure it out at the end, we'll figure out one of them at least, that Cylon activates and then shoots Colonel Adama, which is the main actor in it, pretty much in the show, which I didn't personally see coming. And the reason it shocked me more on this is because this show is so much different to the original. Like, it is way different to the cheesy 70s campy looking thing.
Which was good.
Which is it's brilliant. Again, it's one of my favourite series of all time.
But
when they shot Adama, because they don't just shoot him once, she shoots him a few times, and he's fucking bloodied out all over the control console, whatnot sort of thing.
No spoilers, please.
You've seen it.
No, I haven't finished it.
Well, anyway, I thought they were going to change it up because I thought they were going to let him go, and then his son Apollo was going to carry on for him. Because that's what they sort of focus on these characters, like when he goes, who's going to take over? Apollo obviously will, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I thought when season 2 would come out, that's what would happen. And obviously there's more to it. I'm not going to spoil it because
thank you.
I've already spoiled the end of season 1 for you, but it doesn't matter. So it won't be much of a shock factor to you. But then again, by the time you watch it, you might even fucking forget it happens, honestly. But that's the reason why I had to put it on there, because it was, again, it's one of those shows where it been on Sci-Fi Channel, I believe, and I didn't get to watch it because, I didn't want to go through the same campy sci-fi thing. I need to find out it was a different show, rented it from Blockbuster, box set from Blockbusters, and I was just hooked on it. And then when that happened, I think I was watching in bed and actually got up out of the bed and looked at the screen and just go, what? They haven't just done that, have they? And obviously everyone would go, don't worry, he'll be fine, it's a Dharma, rah, rah. But for me, it just had that effect on me that I thought, fuck, they're going to change it up and it's going to be a much, much different show to its original counterpart. So that's why it's on my number 4.
It was going to be an honourable mention for me.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the fact that...
There are a couple others I want to spend, but that just had the bigger shock factor in me on that one.
Yeah, you got to pick one.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it. That's my number 4. Nice. Short and sweet, sir.
Nice.
What's yours?
The little pause as well. My number 4 is Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Which one?
The Red Wedding.
Oh,
dude, this guy is spoiling all of mine.
He is, and that's my number.
Sorry.
That's my number 3. Damn it.
Yeah, there was one before I was going to.
We'll go to when we go around.
But for me, that is when you're like down. Like, obviously, everyone knows what the Red Wedding is now, right?
Yeah.
So it's the one I was just talking about where I was watching it with my friend on holiday. And my first initial, I was like, oh, what's this all this? And when they, was it in Stark, the main was it? What's his name?
Stark.
Rob Stark.
Not Rob Stark. I'm talking.
Rob's the son.
Ned Stark was in season 1. He got chopped off season 1. Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. I was one of those losers thinking, oh, he's from Lord of the Rings. He's gonna be
it's Sean Bean. It's that's how I had with Adama, because he'd been in other stuff. He was a big actor, and that's when he shot him. Like, fuck.
When that happened, you're like, oh my god, what? They actually do this in the show? Okay, and then up until to that Red Wedding, you're like, okay, so the main dad's. Ned's dead now, so they're proper foot pushing Rob as to become the next sort of for the Stark, leaders for the Stark, and you're like proper behind it. And that that scene, that whole episode, and you're just like, okay, there's something off, and they just kill everyone off in that, and I just did not see that happen.
No, I don't think anyone did, to be honest.
And I think after that specific moment, that's like no one is safe. In that show, so that's why for me it was. Even though it might have been a crappy ending to the actual last season, but those moments in those shows like that is for me was pivotal.
I'm not going to talk too much now. I'll talk about it later.
Okay, but did you know?
I'm doing that.
Apart from season, I like your face there. Apart from season 7 and 8, I believe on every season something major happens on episode 9 of every season.
Oh, really?
Like, if you go back and rewatch those episodes, so episode 9, season 1 is Ned Stark's death. Yeah. Season 2 is the Battle of King's Landing.
Yeah.
Season 3 is Red Wedding.
Oh, wow.
And it's all in episode 9. So if you keep going up,
Oh,
apart from because season 7 and 8 only had 6 episodes, I believe.
Oh,
But
I don't know that.
yeah, season 5, 1 to 5, something major happens on every episode 9.
Well, they killed off Joffrey really early on in. There was like
that was the beginning of season 4. That was,
wasn't it?
That's right.
But I do contemplate going back to it, but I'm like, do I? But I don't know. Has anyone thought about it?
I went back to it recently and watched all up to the last series.
I would watch it.
Did you?
Again.
Yeah.
I would like to rewatch it again.
What did you?
It was only the last
The
season that
worst
was a
bit,
bit
wasn't it?
piss poor.
It just reminds me how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then I just watched it up to the last season and was like,
How they?
I really enjoyed that. Damn. I really hate the ending.
Yeah, leaves a little sour taste in it.
If you watch it back again, you'll be like, damn it, I remembered why this was my like all-time favourite.
It was.
Early on.
It's
I just hope House of Dragons doesn't go down the same route. But
Probably will.
I haven't watched
we'll see.
that yet.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Is season 2 this year? For House of Dragons?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything.
Should be, yeah.
But yeah, short and sweet. Sorry.
Nice. No, that's fine.
You'll hear more about it later on.
Your number 4's done, John's. So
That was my number 3, wasn't it?
He's had his 4 and 3 done
I've had
now.
my 4 and 3 done by him.
That was his number 3.
do you want to do your 3 now as well?
I'll go on to my number 3, but that is higher in my list, that Game of Thrones.
Right.
Number 3.
So, number 3 then,
Yeah,
Rock God.
that's back to me, yeah. My number 3 is Dexter.
Ooh, which one?
Episode called The Getaway. I can't remember which series it was in. It is the one where, with the Trinity Killer.
Yes.
A fantastic episode. Series.
Okay.
And you're right towards the end. Dexter has grown to his most sort of human point so far. And he's realised he's been learning from the Trinity Killer how to be a father or to pretend to be a father. Mm-hmm. And it's all gone wrong. He's had to take out the Trinity Killer.
Yeah.
So he's killed the Trinity Killer and he's going happily back with the slow motion ding, ding, ding sort of music as he walks back into his bungalow, slow motion, and he hears his son crying.
Yeah.
And he's like, and you're like, I thought the episode was going to end.
Yeah.
I thought the episode was going to end here. Like, oh, what is going on? And then he rushes in slow motion and he sees his son sitting
in the pool of blood.
On a pool of blood, which harks back to him and his origins for Dexter.
Exactly,
with his
mother, wasn't it? His mother, I think,
wife.
Or was it his wife?
Rita, yeah. This is I'm talking about that. Dexter's origin. It was him sitting in his mother's blood in a shipping container. That's what I mean, after she was chainsawed to death. Yeah. Now he runs in and sees his son and Rita, his wife, in a bath with her wrists slit in a pool of blood, and his son is screaming. Yeah. And you know immediately, like, that is how the Trinity Killer, that was his
yeah, she didn't do it herself.
No, that's his modus operandi. And you're like, no, he's just killed him. How's this happen? So, and then you're like, it's a big, like, oh my God. Like, what?
Like father, like son.
Where do we go from here? Yeah. Because that undoes all the hard work of him growing and towards becoming an.
And he was looking forward to. He was going to give it up now. Let's see. I'm going to.
I honestly forgot about that. And that's a good shout.
I'm going to go home to my wife and my child, and I'm going to go away, and I'm going to be a better person.
Yeah, his arc is grown, and then he's starting to become the family man that he always pretended to be as a cover to cover up for what he was doing. He was growing into that as a reality. And now it's just been, the carpet's just been ripped out from under him.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did that happen? He's just taken him out. He's just had him on the table all cling filmed up. And that means he must have known that his wife was already dead and his son was there when he had him on the table. And you're like, oh man. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
one of the best cliffhangers from that whole series. It was
going to be an honourable mention for me, but that is a
I love that.
Good one.
That was so good.
That's with John Lithgow as Trinity, isn't he? Yeah,
he's such a good actor anyway. Yeah. But if you watch the new series of Dexter,
Is that Cold Blood or something blood, isn't it?
New Blood.
New Blood.
Yeah. There's references back to this.
That was a good series, actually. Because, again...
It got way better for me,
Dexter, the last series of Dexter, I was so angry with. And I think we talked about it.
We did. It was the most disappointing ending.
Yeah, it was
right
up there for me. But then the new series, which I think hadn't been released at the time of recording that episode.
Yeah. But the funny thing, we've spoke this before, and we reckon they changed the end, the beginning or whatever, because they did. Because
what's the New Blood you talk about?
Yeah, because so many people didn't like.
Yeah, well,
because I honestly thought it was going to go this route, and it didn't.
Yeah,
so
which is good, but they corrected their mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm glad they did that.
And I think
so
that
New Blood
deserves,
shaping up. I think.
Yeah, I think that deserves quite a bit of respect because quite often these days, when you're getting, you can get a lot more backlash from the fans through social media. It's not like the old days when a movie producer just had to deal with, the Hollywood interviewers and things like that, and it was all a very sterilised thing. They get that backlash for what they do. We've seen it in things with like Game of Thrones and some of the Marvel bits and pieces and things like that, and Star Wars is another example.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and in that situation when your creativity is being attacked, I think a lot of people just go, well, I'm going to double down and say that's what I meant to happen, that's what I wanted to happen, and you're just not understanding it. So the fact that they've listened and gone...
I think they listened to M.T.V.B's most disappointing episode.
But the fact that they've listened to us...
Someone's listened to us.
And
it was our number 2 most hated,
And adapted it, it's thumbs up for
them for listening and actually doing it.
Yeah, for growing and making good on there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about halfway through the first season of the new Dexter.
Jeez, you two are like really behind, aren't you?
Are you way beyond then?
I finished it, ages ago.
This came out like a year ago.
Yeah, I've only because I don't have normal. No, I don't have like.
Do you download?
I only have like
John doesn't have electricity, ladies and gentlemen.
I do.
But he can download.
I have things like
to go to a library.
Netflix and Prime and that, and Dexter's not on there. So I've recently got this Now TV, which is a form of Sky, and it's on there. And I only got it to watch the Last of Us series. I'm going to get rid of it again. I thought, well, now I've finished watching that. What else is there on there that I can watch? And I thought, oh, Dexter's shit. I'm going to watch Dexter because I wanted to watch that. So I'm going through.
Just make sure you watch the correct seasons in order.
Yeah,
there's only one so far.
Oh yeah, there's only one. If you'd watched
the new Dexter,
if you'd watched all the original Dexter,
I've watched all the original. Yeah.
No, John's known for watching the wrong season.
What the fuck are you on about?
Dexter was one of those shows where me and my wife just loved to binge that show.
Yeah,
it was when the box set came out, Blockbusters, we fucking nailed it that weekend.
I've still got the box sets apart from the last one.
Nice.
Apart from the last.
Have you seen the box set that comes with the bloodshot?
Yes,
that's the one I want. That's fucking awesome.
That's a collector's one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so number 3. Dexter.
Nice. My number 3 is Lost.
Yes,
but it's the ending to season 3. We have to go back.
Right.
Kate, we have to go back. That was a massive shocker for me because we've obviously had half an ending, which was Charlie's death on that same episode. But then it's when we've mentioned in a previous episode that obviously Lost always goes back. It's always a backflash with a certain character. You builds up that character's story. And then all of a sudden at the end of... Well, during that episode, we get flash forwards, but we don't know they're flash forwards. We just think they're flashbacks, don't we? Only to reveal at the very end where Jack comes across Kate, meets her in the parking lot or something, and he's practically crying. I can't remember what the rest of the conversation was. He's got a beard and everything. She's got makeup to make her look older, whatnot. But all of a sudden he says, she walks off and he says to Kate, we have to go back. And I was like, what? When the fuck did you get off the island, let alone...
That was good, yeah.
It was just the best ever. It was like...
That, even her being there with him was still kind of baffling. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, but again, the way that episode builds that, and just that literally 5 seconds of Kate, we need to go back, was just... Fuck, we got to wait another year for them. No, I think it was more than that because, like I said, season 4, the writer strike kicked in, and then that's when it all fucked up, sort of thing. It was very much because me and my friend Tim were massively into this, and it was kind of like you with Gokul or the Charmsys, whatever you want to call him. We were like texting each other, going, "What the fuck," and everything. It was just like, and then we were coming up with our theories and all that, like every fan of a show does, and we've all done with like Game of Thrones and what Lost and whatnot. But just that one is one of my favourite endings to Lost ever. I kind of like the ending to season 2, but I prefer this one. Was just great, and will always be in my top 5. One of my favourite shows
about that ending,
with that ending. Kate, we have to go back was all it needed because again, like I said, it didn't get as good towards the end.
Yeah, good shout, man.
So that's my number 3.
I knew Lost would be on everyone's list at this, right?
Yeah. He called it before we press record. Yeah. But which one was it? I mean, Lost has loads, like I said.
You could just,
like, you could do top 5 Lost endings on just the episodes full stop.
Yeah, true.
Like, I've got a few favourites with John's character. Not you, John.
Yeah.
As in John Locke.
Yeah.
Like, when he sees his dad in the island and stuff like that. It's like, what?
When you realised when you actually watched and found out who he was. You weren't just going to Magic FM or whatever it was. Mercury.
It was like Mercury, yeah.
He's good, isn't he?
Even
but what do you think he's got in his bag, Anthony? I was like, do you think he's... I don't know. It could be anything. Do you think he's got knives in there? Yeah, could possibly.
Even the one with the numbers with Hugo. Is that Hugo?
Hugo,
yeah. That was so like...
I want to know how many people actually played those numbers in the lottery.
Oh, every fucker did.
I bet that if those numbers had come up, you'd have got like about £2.50 from so many people would have had to share that.
So yeah, that's my number 3. Short and sweet, sir.
Nice. So this leaves me. My number 3 is quite a recent TV show that I watched. I hope it doesn't. I have a feeling it might be on your list, but I hope it's not, because we've talked about it. And it's Alice in Borderland.
Yeah.
The recent season?
Season 2?
The recent season.
Okay.
The recent
so
season.
what, the ending of it or just a random episode?
Because I don't want to spoil it, but I'll say the last episode for me, because it was almost like in three sort of parts.
So is it finished or does it continue? So it's not cliffhanger then, is it?
Well, it is in a way without.
There's a very small like. Could it be something else is happening?
Right.
It's a very.
Talk about it. I'm intrigued.
It's the lead up to the ending as well, because so basically Alice in Borderland is where like it's a Japanese TV program where these group of kids they're playing around, messing around in the main streets of Shinjuku, the iconic crossroads, and they go in they do some
toilet. They hide in a toilet.
Hide in a toilet, and when they come out, everyone's gone, and they're in like central Japan. No one's there, and they're just like looking around for everyone, and all of a sudden, like this screen lights up, and it says, I can't remember exactly the words. Like, they have to play games in this wherever they.
They're like Saw-like games, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so they're based on decks of cards, aren't they?
Yeah.
So the suit of the cards denotes what type of game it's. So it might be a physical game. Might be like a mental game. It might be, and the worst ones are the hearts.
What's this, Crystal Maze?
Yeah, a bit like that. Yeah. And the hearts really are the worst because they're ones that are going to pull at your sort of morals and your.
So if us four go in, if you go to a heart one, one of us is going to die.
Well,
or potentially
you don't want to go and do a heart.
So it'd be John first then.
But how it happens is quite each.
Early on they're going out and these red laser just comes down and shoots someone because they've run out of their.
There's a time slot. If you complete
a bit like Squid Game,
you have a visa, don't you?
Yeah,
I think they call it.
Yeah. So if you complete games, you get
more time. So
you can essentially go. So the way they get them to play these games is basically you have a lifeline. So you have 3 days. If you don't go and complete a game, you don't get an extension. So you have to play. You can't just sit there.
And a laser just shoots out the sky through your skull, burns a nice neat little hole, and you drop dead. Oh wow! But it's like, what the fuck is going on with this? Where is this?
It grows.
I know of it. I've never watched it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It's really good. You can say some of those episodes even have cliffhangers, but it's always like this guessing and what is going on. But the games itself is really intriguing, like very like clever things, and you have to and throughout the whole series, you're like, what is going on? What is going on? It's a bit like Lost. Like what is going on basically? And you get to the final game without any spoilers, and it's essentially
it's the Queen of Hearts, isn't it?
Yeah, Queen of Hearts, and it's basically like
this is in season 2.
Hence Alice in Borderlands, Queen of Hearts. Oh, with his head.
There's more to it, and it's essentially this. They do it a clever way of telling the audience what is actually going on, but actually in a game where it's for the characters. So it's not done like it's like me and you talked about. It's not like, oh, this is what is going on, but it's cleverly done in the game, in the show. So it's not like you got to spill it out to the
is
mind blowing.
I told you about it, didn't I? I made you go back and watch that series because I'd watched that episode and I was like, because you go on such a roller coaster. It's a heart game, so it's going to mess with your your soul, and you're like, what's going on? And
but even those 3 segments of what she does, she's basically like kind of like messes up with their head. But
you don't know whether this has all been real or not, and you're like, hang on a minute, could it be she's trying to fuck with him? And
is this what they're doing? Oh, okay, no. Oh my god, no, please. And then you're like, oh, don't tell me they're doing this. No, Oh, and
the writers play with it, don't they?
Really clever,
because she
that episode's really clever.
At one point, she sort of sits there and she's going, "Oh, okay, I'll tell you what's going on. It's VR. We're all hooked up into a computer game, and then you're like, seriously? This is what they're doing?" And then she's like, "Or am I lying?"
Yeah, but it's done more like
something,
slower and sort of.
It's done slower, so she builds
it's the
it
Inception
up.
ending.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. It is really an Inception ending.
Inception is at the very end of the episode. Should I spoil it? Do you reckon?
Don't spoil it. Let them watch it. But what I would say about that is it's a very good shout, and I'd forgotten about it. That's why it's probably not on my list. But they've done that Japanese thing of every episode when a serious game is happening and it's life or death stakes, they cut halfway through the game. So every fucking episode like that is a cliffhanger, isn't it? They're like, they're like racing to collect points so they don't die at the end or something, and then it'll cut. And it will end the episode. So pretty much.
So yours the end of season 2.
End of season 2.
Right, okay.
So you could say any episode.
Yeah, this is what I was going to say.
Any episode, they cut it in such a way that it's like,
no,
we need to find out how that game ends.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously the stakes.
That's how it should be done.
I practically binged it within a week after you telling me.
I know.
And the thing is, like, I really want to put a shout out to it. Like, I really want everyone to watch it because it's one of those shows that got put aside because of Squid Game, and I was one of those. I was like, I literally watched the first 5-10 minutes of it, and I saw the guys get transported, and there's like, it's a game. I was like, oh, it's another Squid Game. I've been there, done that. But please, no, just like even you will love it. Just check it out.
I've seen half of season 1, but
the second season,
I believe Sweet Home came out at the same time as well.
Yeah,
so I stopped it to watch Sweet Home. So that was the issue.
I think something else big. Korean
and Squid
show.
Games.
It might have been Kingdom. One of the
I think you said it was Kingdom, and I just kind of brushed it aside. But that if you stick to it, watch. Even season 2 is more of a banger, I reckon. And the finale is,
and some really good action in it as well.
Yeah, I'll go back to it. I'll definitely go back to it.
I thought you were going to say the end of season 1 for cliffhangers, because do you remember it has that cliffhanger where they go into a hidden room underground?
Yeah,
and there's like there's all those screens around, and you're like, dude, what the fuck is going on here, man? Like,
it doesn't give you nothing,
and it doesn't explain it, but
it just doesn't give it you nothing.
And then you have to wait till the second series, and you're like, what is going on?
Does it explain it after that?
It does,
right?
It does.
Whether I don't know. Some people might not like it.
Right, without spoilers, it does a thing where, like you said, in Inception, leaves you to decide. But again, even that was like, oh my god!
Yeah.
And the soundtrack in season 2 is amazing, dude. It's so good.
If you like your Japanese style thing,
Japanese
so a bit
techno.
over the top. No, I mean just in general. So like someone gets brutally shot and then like is still alive half an episode later, just like.
But if you think about it,
no, it makes sense.
It makes sense. It does
only at the end.
Yeah.
So like I say, if you can get through, if you don't mind that over the top Japanese, like at one point this woman gets lifted up on a machine gun with it going like. Exploding. She takes about 9 point blank high velocity rounds, and then she still involves herself in the fight later on down the line after line. Then you're like, but it is such a good fight.
It's over the top, but it makes sense and what things are happening and why.
And it's badass.
It so badly makes sense, and it's really clever. It's so clever.
Nice.
I'm annoyed I forgot.
I'll go back to it.
I will watch that then.
Well done, dude.
Yeah.
I was worried. I thought, I don't want to ruin another one.
So Alice in Borderlands, yeah?
Right.
Your 3's taken, John?
Yeah.
So we go to number 2's then.
Number 2.
Back to the rock god himself.
Okay, so no surprise here, Lost.
Oh, yours is on here.
I said, like, everyone's going to have it on here.
I didn't think you would have it. You fucking hate that show.
I hated the end of it. But the reason it is on here... and
Calling my flabber really ghastly on this one.
Yes. And the episode is Deus Ex Mechanica, or Machina, and it is the one you talked about, G.
Oh, right.
I'm not going to rehash it too much, but I want to just talk about why.
I think we talked about it. We talked about it before.
So this is near the end of the first season, so you have no idea what's going on. And we've talked about it previously on the disappointing episodes because it was on mine. But my family was so hyped for this. We sat down and watched it together on the sofa, and then afterwards we'd be talking about what we thought was going to happen. and I can't think of other stuff that's been liked to that extreme.
Yeah.
And my brother would be like, "Oh my God, did you see that? That was hidden in a frame." And I don't know how he saw it. He's colourblind as well, completely. So I don't know how he saw these little hit, like, there's a shark that swims in front of the camera at one point in season 3.
Doesn't have the Dharma symbol
and it's got
on
the
it.
Dharma symbol on the fucking shark. And I was like, we had to go back, rewind, and watch it, on the DVD copy that we rented at Blockbusters a week later.
You freeze frame
to freeze frame and see it, and you're like, damn it, Joseph was right. What the fuck is going on? Anyway, so you've had Locke and Boone.
Boone,
Yeah,
yes.
and they found the hatch. They haven't told anyone. You've still got all the other crap going on, and there's this hatch, and they've dug it out, haven't they? And they're trying to get in it. They tried dynamite. It doesn't do fuck all.
Yeah.
That's right. They get it from the pirate ship, right?
Yeah, and I can't remember what happens to Boone, but I think he falls out of something.
Doesn't he die?
Yes, but he falls out of something, and Locke drops him off at the caves, doesn't he? To the rest of the gang, and he's lying there all bloodied, and Locke's like so obsessed with what's in this hatch.
That's
that
right.
He leaves him.
He needs to know what's inside, doesn't he?
He leaves him dying to go back and still try and break in the hatch. It's like his white whale. And Boone dies. Spoiler alert. He dies with his sister and things like that.
Yeah.
They can't save him. So Boone has led this innocent, naive kid who's not really that screwed in to die in the pursuit of this hatch. And you're like, it's an island in the jungle. What the fuck is there a hatch in here?
What? Yeah.
And he is literally like, is shouting to the island because he believes the island has healed him.
Yeah.
Again, spoiler for the future because he was in a wheelchair.
Yes, that's right.
So he believes that there is like a god or some sort of mystical thing about this island, and it wants him to discover this because he's found it. And he can't get in it, and he is on his hands and knees in the darkness, leaving someone dying, horrifically blooded. He's... Fuck them. Fuck Boone.
Yeah.
He's going to go and beat his fists on this solid metal hatch. And then it just goes... And there's like a beam of light coming up through the window. And I was like, oh my... Well, I remember with my family just being like, what the fuck is going on? And I just want to... I think why this one stands out amongst all the others in Lost for me, because it was early on. Because it's a doorway. And I think doorways and portals have something special about them.
Okay.
Because I was trying to work out why this one, out of all the others in Lost that you could name and that you've mentioned, things like that, and why the door? Why just a hatch?
Yeah.
Because if they'd have just dug up a box of something, they couldn't break it open, or a briefcase, that wouldn't have had the same effect.
I was just going to say, it wouldn't have the
doorway,
same effect,
there's something special about a doorway, a passage
to
another plane, to hell maybe. We don't know what it is. What's down there is something locked in there.
You have to know what's in there.
It really plays with your
imagination.
It's almost like, I think I was trying to work out what it was tapping into, what part of my brain it was pinging, what neurons. And I think it's that kind of thing where we try and figure out what happens after death. You can't cross that threshold, so you have no idea. This hatch is a little bit like that. It's like, imagine if someone could tell you without a doubt, we've done this test and we can tell you what happens after you die. That's that same, not to the same extent, but it feels a little bit like that.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. It was just, what's on the other side of that fucking door?
And same with G. Was you happy with the...
I was, yeah.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah, because I thought it might be hell, like I just mentioned, or some sort of netherworld.
But if it went down that route, would you still like the show?
Yeah, probably. But
I thought about this after Iron Out. But if it was more like, it went more like there's creatures in there and stuff like that, and it got
it's
out.
Where the smoke is generated from. Yeah, I mean,
danger.
But probably not as much. But the fact that there's a guy,
there's a guy in there,
he's living there, and he's putting numbers in, and you still don't know what the numbers are.
And it was
how many minutes though?
Yeah,
every
fuck it. It was every
33 minutes or something.
18,
42,
42. Oh yeah, 42. Meaning of life.
Yeah, that's just
yeah, exactly.
So no. Anyway, so there you go. You've had your full house of Losts, listeners.
Yeah, wow.
Did John have one?
No, not Lost.
Oh no,
fuck you.
You've had a 75% Lost.
Yeah.
So watch the fucking show, guys.
Like I say, I might have trashed the ending of it, but I really enjoyed the beginning.
Yeah. That season one is flawless.
And
it's
up
flawless.
to season 4 or 5, I thought wasn't bad, and I did really enjoy it. And
there's like one of my favorite episodes later on is this with Desmond, where he's he I think I said it in the previous episode where he has a little sort of like a unique sort of like, you know, I'm a massive fan of time travel, but the way they interpret time travel in that is quite clever. Like where he's got to make a phone call, but that phone call goes. When he makes a phone call in that specific time, it's at certain time and when he's calling. And then I thought it was really clever. I was fascinated about it.
Trust me, brother.
I love Desmond.
Yeah, that was his. I think he's a great character, Desmond.
Yeah.
He definitely grew on me.
So
Didn't he leave the island on the rowing boat and he comes back?
Yeah, on the sailing boat.
That's it, yeah.
But yeah, so love that. And yeah, I couldn't not put it on because it was such an event, like I've already said, with my family, and we were just like, you know, I think all of us were picking our jaws up like, oh, I guess there's someone in the hatch or the lights come on, what the hell, you know, it was just, and visually, it was such a good shot of just that light
like beaming into the sky.
Going up in the darkness after he'd had his white whale. What do you want from me?
Do you remember the episode, I think it's season 2, episode 1, when they go down and Jack knows who Desmond is.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and you're like, what?
You! Lost.
Anyway,
enough lost.
Enough lost. That's my number 2.
I want to watch it again.
My number 2 is a show I've mentioned on here before on the top 5 favourite TV shows of all time.
Don't. Go on.
You won't know, John. Don't. Honestly, don't. You know what it is. It is the ending to season 2 of a show called Nip Tuck. If anyone has never watched what Nip Tuck is, it's about 2 plastic surgeons that live in LA. They have a clinic there. Every episode does a different thing with a different patient. But as that goes on, something else carries on in this. Throughout season 2, there is a rapist / guy who carves people up. He doesn't kill them. He carves things into them, and he's called the Carver. And it's like a well-known, like sort of, he's not a murderer. He keeps his victims alive. So basically, he's a guy dresses all in black, and he has like a porcelain angel face mask for him. Very creepy looking thing. Yeah. And what he does is he, to a victim, he injects them in the neck to numb them, and obviously rapes them then. And then after that, he cuts basically like a Joker smile into them. This was before there was Heath Ledger's Joker and all that sort of stuff. Right. But I remember throughout the whole series of this is that, you know, this was Nip Tuck is one of those things that me and my wife was the first ever binge box set we've watched. I was like, Plastic Surgeon, I don't watch that. It is a fucking great show. Right. And at the very end of season 2, the Carver gets hold of one of the main characters in this, wow. Okay. And he stabs him in the neck with the injection. Yeah. The plastic surgeon guy, he looks at him and you see a tear go down his eye because he knows he's about to get raped and like carved up and whatnot. And the very, very last shot of it, you see the Carver looking at the knife and he slashes you and you hear a cut. Oh. And as you cut, there's blood smear that goes over the camera. So you think, fuck, they've killed off another main character. I'm like, oh my God, are they going to end this season and whatnot? Obviously, it went on to like 6 seasons in the end. But when that happens, I was satisfied with the ending because obviously he doesn't kill him. Right. But the whole of season 3 is to figure out who the Carver was in the end. Yeah. And we get a result. I'm not too sure about that cliffhanger. Right. But just the end of season, you just didn't see it coming because it just comes out of nowhere. Right. You know the episode's going to end, you know the season's going to end. The next minute, he goes to bed and he you know, he's got his eyes closed. He wakes up and then he's just got this black hand covered over his mouth and stabs him in the neck to like get him. Yeah. And you're like, fuck, the Carver has got hold of this guy. And it was just that moment where I just never forget it when he looks at that knife and cuts his face up and whatnot, and you think, oh shit, that's it, it's over. Because back then, again, no internet, nothing. You didn't know there was going to be a season 3, and then when the box set came out, you're like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
I didn't know. You've put it in my radar.
You know, you've
Nip Tuck's
I've heard of it.
You've got Now TV. Watch it because it's on Sky.
It's on there,
yes.
Okay, right.
No, you mentioned it in a previous podcast.
Like I said, I mentioned Nip Tuck on the thing. It's in my top 5. It'll always be there. It's a fantastic show. Okay. Every episode is different, but like I said, the story progresses through a season. Like I said, find out who a killer is or such and such. But I highly recommend it. Again, I'll never forget it because that was kind of like a cliffhanger I enjoyed with the wife at the time as well, because we were just like getting into DVD box sets at the time, and it was just so great. It was just like, what? No, because it's a character you really do like. He's a cunt at the end of the day, but you love him. He's so like up his own arse because he's a good looking chap. He earns money and stuff, but there's something about him that you like. And then when you found out the Carver's gone, you're like, oh, I don't want him to die. He's gone. Fuck's sake! Brilliant cliffhanger, and. Good outcome of it as well. So yeah, my number 2, Nip Tuck, the end of season 2.
Right. Nice. So my number 2. Gonna jump in anime territory.
Okay.
Oh, good. Thank God. I thought you were going to say something up my number 2. Go on.
Is Attack on Titan.
Oh, I know of it.
Get in there.
I know of that. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. I've never watched it, but I know of it. So.
What season though?
Wow.
I think
don't say season 3.
I can't remember.
Any number but 3.
I think it might be season 3, but it's a specific moment.
Specific, not Pacific. That's an ocean.
Yeah.
Specific.
Specific.
Which I thought, like overall, even the later episodes, I don't know.
All right, go into it, but don't give out too much away because I don't want to know.
I might know what you're on about by telling.
Mind you, it might be a while till I get to watch the final seasons. Okay, no, carry on. It's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, it might not be an overarching sort of cliffhanger where
explain what Attack on Titan is first.
Sorry. So Attack on Titan is basically humans are we follow these group of humans who have built a wall around them, and these
that wall.
These titans, almost like these freakish looking humanoid massive
giants.
Are around and they're hunting them, but that's why they've built walls around them,
protect
right?
them,
protect
okay.
them. And you follow Eren Yeager and his friends. Eren's a bit like a hothead in the beginning. He's got like a friend who's very clever, and he's got like almost like a bodyguard / slasher like girlfriend that he has. We follow those 3 essentially, and one day. Out of nowhere, these different kind of titans come in. Almost one's an armored titan, and this huge colossal. It's called a colossal titan, and it breaks through their wall, and they get overrun by these titans. And the first few seasons about them, how they come back. But there's in this show there is there's so many I can nitpick cliffhanger moments, not just that, things that, like I said earlier, not breadcrumbs, it's like, what is going on?
Foreshadowing?
Foreshadowing as well.
But just like during episodes, like when you find out there's a female titan, and end of season 1 when there's titans built inside the wall, I was like, holy fuck.
So that was my cliffhanger.
That was your cliffhanger. Yeah. Sorry,
no, it's fine. It's fine. I was just explaining that. So there's so many things, like little things, and you're like, what? And it kind of like where I'm at now, where the show is now, is finally getting explained, and there's even more of a fantastic cliffhanger later on in the season, which I won't spoil. But for me, that specific moment where a little. Sorry, I keep saying that. There's a few things happen, and after a battle, there's a crack in one of their walls, and as they look up, all you see is this massive eye of a titan. So you're like, the titans they built the titan over the walls, and your mind just fucking explodes. For me, I was just like, oh my God, I did not see that happening.
No, me neither.
Show. And for an anime show, to the level of things they do in this show, it's just unbelievable. It's a shame that did you watch the film?
Yeah, I've seen the films. It's 2 parts.
It's nothing like.
But then they made the film whilst only the first season was out. In all fairness, I don't understand why they did that.
And they did it 2 parts as well. So I didn't
actually mind the first part. Part 2 was a bit wank, but.
I think they just thought, oh look, this is doing well. Let's do a quick CGI cash grab.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like for me. But the animation in this is, I know it's not about it, but it's some of the things like you see, and I can't remember how they fight these Titan creatures, as like they got these sort of hooks things, and it's
fucking awesome. It's like Attack on Titan's one of my favorite episodes ever.
And then there's without spoiling it, we're at this. it's like what we said earlier, like things that happened in the first 2 seasons, and now it's getting revealed, and even now my head's still like exploding. Like it's one of my number one animes.
Same. I haven't finished it though. Because every time they keep saying it's the final season, another fucking season comes out.
Check this out. The next one is the final.
Yeah.
Super final, we promise.
But no, but it's good. It doesn't.
They said that after season 2. It's like season 5 now.
No, but it's like each season has been good. It hasn't got dipped or nothing.
No. It has got better.
It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, I'll keep it.
Yeah, give it a go. Attack on Titan, guys. Don't watch the film. Watch the series. It's fucking awesome.
Dave, you should watch it, man. You'll love it.
Yeah, you definitely like it, Dave. Definitely.
It goes politic. It has a lot of politics, isn't it? Like it's weird stuff in there.
What's the guy with the blonde hair who keeps crying all the time? He does my
his mate. He's really good.
No, he's a cunt.
No, he's really good.
He's a crybaby. John, number 2.
My number 2 is the end of Stranger Things.
Which one?
Which series?
End of season 3.
Honourable mention for me. That's with go on, you say it.
When Hopper died.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh yeah, fuck
nice.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you kind of think, did he or didn't he, sort of thing. But I liked it because of the.
I don't think of that.
Be honest though, did you think he was going to die?
No,
exactly. No. That's why it didn't have that same effect.
No,
on
that's
me.
what I mean. It's.
Do you know what? For me though,
it didn't kind of.
Yeah, on season 4, they explain how he survived that, right?
Yeah.
And I had thought, he's going to have survived this in this way, right?
Yeah.
I thought he'd survived by jumping into the
portal,
into the
other world,
No, doesn't he just hide in a car or something?
The upside down, and I was like, and perhaps because the Russians might have their own.
I didn't see that
their own one,
but no.
So maybe they pulled him out in their own side, but no, he literally just drops down the floor and lies on the floor. Going, it all explodes above me and vaporizes the people above me, but I'm fine because I got plot armor.
Because I'm Hopper.
Yeah, so I kind of thought to myself, well, is he dead? Is he not dead?
But then it says at the end
I was disappointed when season 4 started, and like you said, he wasn't dead. But it's like,
at the
American, don't they?
He didn't really go anywhere.
Don't they talk about they're in Russia and they're in
at the end of season
gulag, and they're talking about the American.
That's it. He said no, not the American, and then they put someone else in there, and the Demogorgon. So you knew he wasn't dead.
Yeah,
that's the thing with that show. He's too big a character to kill off.
But I wanted him to be
only kill off the cool characters that they introduce on that season.
Exactly.
But I wanted him. I wanted him in the Upside Down. It's like what Dave said. That's where I wanted. I was hoping he would be there.
Because they did that with Elle, didn't they?
And then they'd have to go and get him back, sort of thing.
Do you not remember there was the earlier cliffhanger after season 1 where Elle, they think she's vaporized when she destroyed the Demogorgon. They both
in the wall.
But it turns out, she vaporizes it and disappears.
That's right, yeah.
And then they think she's died, don't they? But she's actually in the Upside Down, and then she comes back out, and Hopper's tempting her with Eggos, isn't he? In the forest. Right, That's why all the kids think she's dead in the beginning of season 2.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Forgot about that as well.
So you could have that one as well. But it was an honourable mention for me.
I always like, I don't know why, it's not much of a cliffhanger, but I always like the ending to season 2 because it always ends with that, they're at prom and they're in the dancing and it's that happy little thing. And it's just the way the camera turns and it goes upside down and it's very slowly and creepy, but then you see the big fucker guy, what's he called?
The Mind Flayer.
Mind Flayer. Just hanging over that school like this ain't over yet.
Or you've got
so good.
The bit with Will when in the first season when he coughs up that
that little leech thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It goes down the drain, so that's a bit of a cliffhanger, isn't it?
There's quite a lot of them, really, to be honest, in the whole of
It's an honourable mention.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Good shot.
That's my number.
Right, so let's go to the final ones.
It's number 1.
Come on, Dave.
Okay, my number 1 is tune into the next episode of M.T.V.B.
Nice one.
Oh, I've been sitting on that one for ages.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
Good.
So,
see you next week.
I'm not going to do that to you. No, my number 1 is Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And it is the Reigns of Castamere episode, which is the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
That's the official name for it.
Dave likes correcting me.
No, I just did my homework.
Well, when you say Pacific, we kind of have to, I'm afraid.
Specific.
Anyway, so yeah, G's already touched on this. Game of Thrones. I couldn't not talk about this series when we're talking about cliffhangers, because this has some of the best examples of cliffhangers in this. And if I was to pick out one, like G said, it was. I seriously thought you were looking at my list then when you were rattling them off. Anyway, it is The Red Wedding, or Reigns of Castamere, the episode name, because, like G said, it's just so.
It's such an iconic.
It's after that moment you just don't expect. No one's safe.
And I know I don't like Game of Thrones at the end, and we touched it already, but in the first few series,
the first 7 seasons were okay.
That was my favourite
by far, 100%
of all time TV series, and that episode just cemented it, because it was like, you've got the music playing, it's all happy, it's a wedding.
But it's that,
even within the lore of Westeros, you've got, like, I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a guest's, you're under, when you welcome someone into your home and you feed them, they're under your protection. You'd be punished by the gods if you were to break like that guest protection kind of thing. So they all feel safe. And then the music stops.
Yeah.
And then Catelyn Stark goes to Roose Bolton and pulls his cuff up, and he's wearing his fucking chainmail underneath. And she's like, Rob, no! And then all the crossbow bolts come in and start.
Doesn't he stab like pregnant women and stuff as well?
Yeah, well, then one of the Frey sons comes up and
one of them is
and just
it's
says,
a brutal scene.
Yeah,
she says,
is it Rob's wife or whatever?
Oh, yeah, he stabs Rob's wife in the stomach multiple times, killing the fucking baby as well.
Because she said, we're gonna have a son, and I'm gonna call him Eddard or something like that, which is one of the relatives, the Stark relatives.
Well, that's Ned.
That's exactly
his father.
So and then that happens, like you say, and you're like, oh my god, and it doesn't end there. There's more. You know?
And then Roose Bolton comes up to Cat right at the end and goes, "The Lannisters send their regards." Throat cut.
Yeah, that was so good.
And that episode, I was just so, because like you touched on, Ned had died, but that's Sean Bean, and he always dies, so it's kind of expected at this point. But and then you think he's been set up, he's the champion,
he's the next one,
he's the king in the north, and the one that we can all get behind and as watchers.
Just before that, he's just settled that battle. We had a massive battle. That castle, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
you're like, this is going good.
He's winning fights on the thing. He's going to be, he's going to be the one to put all of these bad guys, Joffrey's, to the sword and things like that, and right, wrong, and then suddenly, nope. Fucking destroyed. And it's an iconic scene. It's so, and it's on my list because it was just so
you didn't see
out of. No one saw it coming. Let's face it, coming,
and it was done.
You expect one person to die.
Episode, something wasn't right.
Half the cast,
even to the end. I don't know what's, but fuck, when it happens, just.
But I would challenge anyone to say that they saw that happening in that way. Exactly. Maybe
unless it got spoiled.
I mean, it was just.
But it's like I said, you expect them to kill someone off, not like half the family sort of thing.
Out the start.
Didn't see that much coming.
I got a question for you. Did you see? Yeah, I know he doesn't die. But what's his name? The main Stark guy? Oh fuck,
Jon Snow.
I
was thinking about when he gets.
Did you think he was going to die? They were going to kill him off?
No,
not
too
by
big
that
a character.
Yeah, I was like, he's the one that everyone likes, and you can't do that again. I was just thinking, sure, they're going to find some way to bring him back. And then they teased us, didn't they, in the first episode of that, of the series after that, where they were like, oh yeah. The Red Lady can come
Melisandre or whatever her name was.
Melisandre can just come in and bring him back like she's been doing to that other guy, and then she tries it and he's just still lying there dead, and you're like, damn it, they're just teasing me now. But there are so many good.
At one point, I'm not going to lie, I thought, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck,
you've got the bit where the Night King attacks Hardhome with Jon Snow trying to rescue the wildlings. And they all pile off the cliff.
Yeah.
And
that's my favourite.
They just escape, and then like Jon's watching him as he's fleeing on a boat, and he just lifts his arms up, and all the dead get up.
That's my favourite one ever.
Oh shit! But anyway, Game of Thrones. I know I've got a big downer about it because of the ending, but
we all do.
If you look at the first part of it, it's fantastic,
flawless.
That and the way it was shot, I loved it, and it was jaw dropping. And I know I've said that a lot in this.
It's just a shame. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, but if you only watched the wasn't it the 8th or 9th season, wasn't it? The 8th one. So if you watched the first 7, then don't bother with the 8th one then.
I know, but you don't get any closure though, do you?
No, I suppose, but
massive closure.
What could have been
after that episode where he's so badass, the Night King, and he lifts all the dead up, and they were fleeing with their fucking tails between their legs, and then he gets wrapped up in.
Why that's my favourite cliffhanger, because it's just you put yourself in that situation and you think to yourself, if he's possible of that, how the fuck are we going to do this? There's nothing we can do.
And then he gets a little.
Oh, it turns out there is. You just take a flying leap. As Arya,
and just stab one of them.
And just stab him. Oh, it's done.
In the eye, doesn't it? Isn't it the eye?
Oh, I don't.
No, just care. She just stabs them, and then they all die.
That was just so bad.
Fucking ridiculous.
Anyway, so
that ruined it.
Fuck you, HBO.
That's my number 1.
Nice.
Good shout. Sorry. Your number 1 was your number 3 or 4?
There was my number 4.
Manai.
Pacific.
Your Pacific.
The movie Pacific.
The TV series Pacific.
That's what.
Pacific Rim.
We ain't gonna let you down on this one now.
Right.
Imagine if it was
you never let me
Pacific.
down.
If it was his number 1, Pacific.
I'd laugh. Go on. Who's number 1 then? Go on.
My number 1. My number 1 is my number 1 because it was my first ever cliffhanger. I've mentioned it before. And we're going back to very early 90s. My number 1 is the ending to season 2's Twin Peaks.
See?
Nice.
Oh, they called it.
You didn't call that.
I'll take it. He loves doing it.
Now, I was very young when I first watched this, because let's face it, in the early 90s, 91, 92, this came out, this was fucking huge. This was like the X-Files before X-Files. This was on BBC Two every Sunday night, and I guarantee every adult was watching this show.
My dad's going to love you for putting this in.
Yeah, I'll never forget this ending.
Twin Peaks.
And Twin Peaks is a ridiculously weird show. I mean, it's done by David Lynch, the great David Lynch, who I'm a fan of as well. I love his work and stuff, as well as Tim. Hi, Tim, if you're listening. But this show is a typical murder mystery, whodunit, who killed this lady. So basically, a woman in Twin Peaks, Laura Palmer, has been murdered. So the FBI send over Dale Cooper, played by Carl McLaughlin, to figure out who killed her. And as this progresses along, it's weird. I'll go into the second how it ends, but there's so much weird stuff that happens to you, but you can't help but watch and carry on because you want to figure out this murder mystery. So at the very end of this, obviously at the end of the show, we go to, and I had to write this down because I had to remember this. The murder mystery solved. It turns out that some sort of demon entity had possessed someone else and killed Laura Palmer. Dale Cooper finds out anyway. He solved it, and then he ends up going into an enigmatic realm where it's filled with doppelgangers, ghosts, pure evil. And at the same time he figures out this realm has been hiding in Twin Peaks for so long, he gets possessed by the same person or thing that, kills Laura Palmer.
Sounds like
there's more to it, but because it's not a demon as such, this demon or whatever it is just looks like a normal human at the end of the day. With longer hair, Bob, I believe he was called, or that's his nickname for it anyway. And takes possession of Dale Cooper. Now, at the very, very end of this show, Dale Cooper you see him as Carl McLaughlin as normal. He's in his bathroom, does his normal, brush his teeth, whatever. Next minute, he just smashes his head into the mirror. For no reason whatsoever, okay? And as he's done this, he's cut his head open, smashes it again into the mirror, and as he sees his reflection, he sees the reflection of this demon, this entity that's possessed him. And he just smiles at, the mirror and says something like, how's Annie? That makes no sense, whatever. How's Annie? And then that's it. Cut. Done. The series is over.
What?
And that's it. Massive cliffhanger. And we waited 28 years for a season 3 that finally got resolved and explained everything.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
But we never knew there was going to be a season 3. We never thought there would ever be a season 3.
Wait. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Why so long?
I don't know.
I've heard of this, but I've never...
David Lynch obviously did it with the TV. He started with films, went to TV, and then he did other films at the time. He always said he'd make only 10 films, so he made only 10 films. And then he went back to Twin Peaks, which, again, we never thought he would ever do, because he said he would never do it again. He felt like that was the ending. People, like with Inception, you make your own interpretation of what happens.
Is season 3 good?
And then season 3, yeah, it's so good, dude. So good. Again, me and Tim, every week we looked forward to that. It's the most craziest. It's even crazier than the first 2 seasons. Like, if you go and watch it now, if I say Gal, go and watch Twin Peaks. You will not know why I've given this to you, why I've recommended this to you, because you'll be like, what the fuck am I watching? But there is more to it. There's something about that show that just keeps you going. Even though weird shit happens and you're like, well, why is this man dancing with a horse or something like that? You know?
This woman carrying around a log.
This woman carrying a log around, yeah. Or why is some guy spray painting spades in gold and whatnot? It's just...
What?
It's ridiculous. But there's something... Again, there's just something that draws you to it. And every episode ended on a cliffhanger. So I could have gone with any episode, really. But when I remember... my parents watching that, and I saw that ending, and I was just like 8 or 9 at the time. I was like, what the fuck is that? Having to go back years and years ago, not long after my first daughter was born, the house we were renting out had a damp issue, so we had to leave the house, and we went and stayed at my mum's, and me and Lou watched through the whole of Twin Peaks again. I'd got the box set or whatever I rented out, I can't remember now, and we just sat for it all, and I thought, fuck, this is so good. I remember this and everything. This was a great show. And then 2019, we got season 3, and it fed everyone what that ending held for 28 years, and it explained it. You know, completely weird. Same actors, everything. Yeah. The only one that didn't come back was the guy who was the person that possessed him. I think he died of AIDS or something. The actual actor. Oh wow! But as everything, it was worth the 28 years of waiting. I can't deny.
That was my. Was it worth the wait?
Absolutely. So the fact that I remember when they announced that Twin Peaks was coming, I was like, this is clickbait. It's bollocks. This ain't
because you've waited so long, yeah.
Exactly. I was like, no one's going to remember Twin Peaks. No one's going to know what Twin Peaks is. And then it was like, oh shit, it's on Sky and it's coming on. And we came. I said, me and Tim, we were on it every day. There's one specific episode. Have you seen it?
Not the newest one.
Season 3. There's one episode in that which is. Again, balls to the walls, fucking crazy, but it is such a good episode. It is brilliantly shot. It's all done in black and white and everything. It's fucking awesome, but it makes no sense. There's no reason for it, but it's just there. It's typical David Lynch. If you ever know what the director's like, it's typical him, and it's brilliant. And I can't deny that cliffhanger gripped everyone for 28 years and finally got answered.
That's amazing.
So that's why it's my number one.
I'm going to put it on my list. I heard about it, but
you literally just explained that to G in exactly the same way my father explained it to me when he wanted me to watch the initial 2 series.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, I can't explain it. You'll like it.
Yeah.
Just watch it. It doesn't make sense. What?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't make sense, but watch it.
There's other storylines which are a bit pointless, and I'll give it that as a series. I'm not saying the series is whole. Like the best, whatever, but just that fucking cliffhanger was... You know, a staple of my, you know, life of cliffhangers. You know, and I'll never forget it.
That's scary?
There has some like imagery to it because the thing was with Twin Peaks. So basically, the series had come out, which is about trying to solve Laura Palmer's murder. And then after that series finished, a movie came out, which was done by David Lynch. And it's called Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me. And it's the prequel to the series. So you see how she died and what she was like as a person before she was murdered. So again, season 2's ending still doesn't get answered because it's a prequel.
Right.
So again, when people saw, Fire Walk With Me is going to come out, it's a saying in the show, you'll get it if you ever watch it. Yeah. It's going to be answered now. Now we're going to know why Dale Cooper did this and that. No.
So do you
still got to wait another 28 years for it.
So would you recommend someone who's never watched Twin Peaks to watch the film first?
You would like it. Don't watch the film first.
No, okay. I was going to say if it
stick with the order. Stick with the order.
Stick how it was. Oh, okay, right.
Stick with the series. Yeah. And if you liked the series,
I mean, I like David Lynch.
Watch Fire Walk With Me.
I'll watch it.
I wouldn't recommend Fire Walk With Me if you didn't like the series. If you sit for it and that was fucking shit.
I'll go through the first season then, and if I don't like it, then that's fair enough.
The order is Twin Peaks season 1 and 2.
It's 2 seasons of it, yes, yeah.
And then
Fire Walk With Me,
and
then the third one.
and that's the film, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then there's obviously the 3rd season now, which was So there's actually 3 seasons of Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
right, okay.
But the order you should watch it in is season 1, 2, then the movie, film, season 3.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
okay. I would have done season 1, 2.
It's a bit confusing, but that's Twin Peaks all over. Twin Peaks is just confusing.
Yes, that's why I asked about the film, because it would be worth watching the film first and then the season. But he says no, watch season 1 and 2, then the film, and then season 3.
Do you want to know how weird this show is? Right, so David Bowie, the singer, is in Fire Walk With Me. He plays a character, plays a copper in that film, right? Because he died by the time season 3 comes out. David Bowie comes back in it as a kettle.
What the fuck?
And that's what I'm telling you. This is what you're going to go into.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay.
As a kettle, I am not bullshitting you.
I'm intrigued.
If you want to, give it a go, but just expect the most utter randomness ever on TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
So number one, I'm intrigued.
The Cliffhanger's my number one, not the show.
Not the show, no.
That's what I'm trying to get. It's a great show, but it's not. The Cliffhanger's my number one.
Okay. Go on.
Give it a go.
G.
Okay. Right, follow that now, G.
One G.
Beat that.
I'll try my best, but that was quite good. Okay, my number one is another anime,
Okay.
Nice.
and it is Death Note.
No,
okay.
I thought that was going to be a number two when you said anime. Good shout, sir.
This
What bit?
There's one which is it kind of annoyed me a little bit, but I'll explain it. So Death Note is basically it's about a boy, Light. One day he acquires a book that's just fallen out of the sky, and he notices it after school. It falls in the playground, and he picks it up, and it's got some sort of rules on it, which says if you write anyone's person's name in this, that person will die of a heart attack within a minute or something like that.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And he
Does he have to write the type of death though? Doesn't he?
I think he can write the type of death, or if he
and
just
their
writes
full name has to be their full name.
full
doesn't
name.
it?
And if he doesn't write the type of death, I think they just die of a heart attack.
That's right. Yes.
So he
that's
takes it, and then obviously he's the news, and some bad guy is holding someone hostage, and he writes the bad guy's name because
it comes up on the news or something, doesn't it? Yeah.
And he writes it, and then he just sits back, and then all of a sudden that person dies of a heart attack, and he's like, "Whoa!" And then he's actually a good kid. He's a son. His father is a copper. And he's like, he wants to do good, really. What he's doing is quite good. He just wants to eradicate of all bad guys in all around the world, I guess.
Yep.
And so he starts this sort of frenzy of killing people. But also in between that, they show how the book was there. Basically, these entities, Shinmagamis, I think.
That's it. Yeah.
They were showed there when their world, they're kind of, this one Shinigami is bored, and he's basically dropped his death note. That's how they kill
Ryuka.
Ryuka, yeah.
Ryuka, yeah.
So he was bored, and he just dropped it and see what happens in the human world. So and he starts following a light around as he accomplishes these deeds.
No one else can see him but Light, though, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, he will follow him around. No one can see him. And you're just like, okay, what the hell? And then things start getting interesting when the police start investigating. Obviously, like if it happens in modern day, what can some randomly people dying of heart attacks? Obviously, there's this super detective who solves all the mystery. And one of my favorite anime characters of all time is L. And
you've got it. Yeah.
So.
The smartest kid in the world, isn't
it? He's actually a kid, and he's so, not creepy, he's very, the way he sits and his mannerism and what he eats, he just eats, chocolate.
He speaks his mind, though. He doesn't care who insults or anything, isn't he?
Super clever. He can, deduct, anything, on the spot sort of thing. So he starts working with the Japanese police, and they start to, how they start narrowing down very cleverly. For anime, it is really interesting how, oh wow, okay, so he's deduced that by because of what he's done. So almost tries to narrow it down to the point where it's this person, it could be a person in this area, and I think somehow even narrows it down to maybe being a student. It's cleverly done. I'm doing it in a quick sort of explanation, and
it's a tough cookie to explain.
It is, Death Note. But so throughout the whole show, it's about the face-off between L and Light and their confrontation. And now you got to understand, this sort of show kind of. I after watching this, I look forward to watching films where there's two characters who are almost doing one's going.
One's trying to catch the other one out, isn't it?
It's very,
good versus bad, isn't it?
So I love it's kind of like a detective thing in a way, isn't it? Yeah.
So I love that. So after this show, that sort of piqued my interest in those type of genres, if you would call it. And one specific scene that
specific. Go on.
Is where he. I think there's one moment. There's two scenes that I could call essentially cliffhangers, but I'll talk about the one earlier, where he actually. There's a moment where he deducts it and finds out that it's this fella, this person. So he essentially goes into school with him randomly and starts questioning him, and he just follows him around. But one thing you need to know is Light, the bad Light, which is he thinks he's doing good, but he's essentially killing people. He has all the rules, right? He has the detective has nothing. He has to work on logics and stuff, whereas Light knows how the book works. There's more kinks into it, and there's a power where he I can't remember, but he can get this eye and he can see this number above your head and when you're going to die. And there's all sort of other things which the detective doesn't know nothing about. No. So he's like the underdog. So the bad guy always has the edge, but he's always gets close, and he's even come to figure out there's a moment where Light knows that he has figured out it's him. So that was one of my main scenes. But one of my favorite cliffhangers is spoilers where Light Akami kills L. And I was like, I did not see that happen. And it was like, for me, it was like...
I was waiting, because Elle was so smart. I was waiting for a counterback, who's going to pop up any minute now. And
because throughout all these...
I'm not really dead.
Because they're going back and forth. He's always one step ahead. Elle's one step ahead. So when he actually kills him, you're like, yeah, no.
Fuck.
Fuck. And you're like, no, he must be coming back. He must have done something, or he got away with it. But he's just like, fuck. And it's one of those cliffhangers. I am still annoyed about it till this day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
I remember reading that in the book. I'm like, nah, Elle's too smart for this. He's going to pop up.
He's going to.
And I kept going page after page.
Oh my god, he's
still dead.
And then you get the replacement one, which he's good, is it?
Nah,
but he's not.
He's not Elle at the end of the day.
And you always I go into conversation. Well, Elle done all the work already, so he didn't actually.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's the battle between these two guys, and if you ever want to watch like a really gripping show, and I'm saying that cliffhanger alone there's more cliffhangers. Every episode is almost like, oh my god, like you're learning stuff as well, and it's really intriguing. And again, Dave, it's a must watch as well as Attack on Titan.
Well, if you want the book, I'll let you borrow the book. It's really good.
It's amazing. It's something like as you yourself as a writer, I think you will learn so much from this show.
My sister's been on at me for years to watch.
Dude, you have to.
I was going to watch it.
I'm new to
was it on Netflix? But you said it's not.
If you watch it, you'll be telling me, why don't you tell me to watch? It's that good.
No, I believe you. It's just I'm easing my way into.
You know how you love Alice in Borderland?
I know.
It's almost to that level.
Oh, because it's Japanese, and there's definitely Japanese.
You have to remember, I didn't watch anything before Squid Games.
True.
So I'm making my way, and I'm doing the backlog. I'm doing the backlog.
So did Squid Games get you into Parasite then?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Actually, no.
I thought it was vice versa.
No, because I view Parasite slightly differently.
Okay.
I would say Squid Games got me into that genre of sort of Eastern stuff.
Just dipping into it now.
Yeah, I'm going into it.
There's a lot of good Korean shows. I've watched a lot of them now. They're
We're talking about
good.
Japanese.
Oh, well,
I'm joking.
Squid Games is Korean.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
I'm joking.
I know you are.
Yeah, that's mine, dude. And yeah,
nice.
John,
down to you, sir. Bring it home. Number one.
Quick Google.
My number one is Breaking Bad.
Nice. Which one?
Season 5.
Okay. No.
Episode 8.
Oh.
It's when Hank discovers Walt really
honorable
is.
mention. Yeah,
good shout, sir.
Yeah. That was really
because I forget season 5 had a mid-season break, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That is one of my favourites.
And I mean, I just
that was
awesome.
Like you say,
you didn't see it coming because earlier in the seasons Hank had thought he was.
Hank has his suspicions of him for quite a while,
and he goes, "Oh, you got me," sort of thing. And Hank thinks he's joking and carries on, and the seasons carry on, and you think, "Fucking hell, he still ain't fucking."
Doesn't he go on a toilet and find something that clocks it together or something?
Yeah, they
has an initial or something.
Walter gets Jesse to kill this bloke, and the bloke had been collared by the DEA, Hank and them beforehand, and during their investigation into him, they've got some of his stuff, and one of them is this book, and in the book is an inscription, which was a part of the investigation. So, of course, he then gets killed, not Hank, but Jesse kills the guy, and that's the end of the investigation, and we're not going to be able to find out who this Heisenberg is, you see. So Hank and the wife, they're all round at Walter's having a lunch, and Hank says, "Oh, I'm just going to pop to the toilet," and he goes into the toilet, and in the toilet is this book, which is a similar book to what this guy that he'd been investigating had. And as he opens it, he says, I'm going to have a little read, and here's a little look, and there's an inscription inside, and it's the same inscription as what they had in the other book.
It's in the initials, though.
Yeah, but he puts two and two together, and it's like, it's in his eyes. He's like, shit, has he got him now? And then he comes out, and then they have this big fight, and they're like,
it's that I love the confrontation.
Yeah.
Well, that's on the next episode when he gets out. But it's like you said, it's that part where he looks at the camera, and he's like, and then it goes to Walt going, "You got me," and it's like cut, and it's like, "Oh, he's got him,"
and you're like, they're like. Shit, and you're like, it's one of those episodes where you really, really, really want to get the next episode watched now, because you really want to see what.
And like you said, that was the mid-season break, so you had to wait so many months to that.
Was it 4 or 5 months or something for the next bit? Oh man,
I was so close to putting that in.
I love Breaking Bad is good. There's lots of things in it, but
that is.
I think that was probably one of the biggest cliffhangers, because it's like you say, he kind of gets away with an awful lot, and you're thinking any moment now he's going to do something. He's going to get caught. He's going to get caught, and then he doesn't. But yeah, so that's my number one.
Nice, short but sweet. I like it.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Oh wow, we got
did we clash?
We clashed a lot, come on, man.
Yeah, he clashed. He took 2 of mine.
Sorry.
Oh, yes, you did. That's right, yes.
We all had lost apart from John.
Yeah, but we didn't have all the same loss, though, did we?
I had the same as G.
Oh, yes, you
had
did.
And the same Game of Thrones as G.
Right. Oh, so you two clash.
No,
you two clash with Star Trek as well.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Is there any honourable mentions at all?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I've got 2 dark.
Yeah.
You got 2 that are dark or 2 from dark?
No, darks. Just there. See.
I've only got 2, so I'm going to put, again, spoiler, if you don't want to know, block it for another 2 minutes. I got the end of season 6 for Sons of Anarchy, when Gemma kills Tara.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
I did not see that coming. The way she does it as well is fucking brutal. And I'm going to mention now because it's my favourite season of this series, and it's the ending of season 5's 24.
Okay, I like 24.
This is the one where Jack Bauer versus the president, and after he's taken down the president, he gets kidnapped by the Chinese government, and because they think that Jack's killed one of their councils, whatnot. So they take him away into a boat in Shanghai, and you think, oh fuck, what's going to happen to him? Again, had to wait another 2 years or whatever for season 6 to find out what happened to Jack. Yeah. So that was one of my favourites as well.
Very good.
I watched Sherlock when he fakes his death.
Oh,
I've not
Benedict
seen it.
one.
Yeah, Benedict.
I know of it, but I've not seen it. Yeah,
jumps off a roof.
That's right. Yeah,
and you think, oh, he's landed behind a van, so it's obviously some jiggery, pokery that's hidden it, but it's not, because he then goes and checks his pulse and he's dead. It's not got a pulse, and he's a doctor, and you're like, whoa! And then you see the grave, but it turns out, spoilers, he'd squashed a squash ball or something under his arm to block his pulse, his radial pulse.
Oh wow, okay.
That's right.
So he was playing dead, and it was all staged.
Wow.
The Good Place, if you've ever seen that.
I've only watched the first series.
Comedy about, Eleanor something getting sent to basically.
Didn't she die? And it's like
she goes to like
heaven,
effectively. And there's a cliffhanger in that where she works out, oh, I'm not actually in the good place.
That's right. Yes,
this is the bad place.
Yeah.
So that was quite good.
Okay.
It's a good show as well. I think they got recommended to me by Chris.
I know.
Who's on there.
It's on Netflix.
It's a nice light watch, that one. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, good 20-minute episode sort of thing. Good.
Yeah.
Ted Danson's brilliant.
He's
like
fantastic in that.
I haven't seen it.
It's a good moment because I've spoiled it for you, but he's like this sort of blundering, likable architect who's running the good place to make it everyone's heaven, perfect for him. And it turns out he's just been messing with them, trying to ruin it for them.
That's it.
A bit like someone I know.
Who would that be?
The Mind.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it.
The Mind.
Bones. They had a couple in
Never
there.
watched it.
If you like that, there's a TV
The bloke from
series.
Angel.
I watched a
in that.
couple of
It was,
episodes.
David Boreanaz. There's a bit where like one of her sort of apprentices, Zach, turns out he's been killing people and stuff like that. And The Expanse, if you've seen that.
I know The
I love The
Expanse.
Expanse. Yeah.
So like when you find
What season?
when you find that the proto molecule's been sort of hidden away, and you're like, oh, some of it survived. What?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Good
I
shout.
can't remember what season that is, but yeah.
I think that's the end of season 2.
That was what I had on that.
I love Expanse. Good shout, sir.
Cut off too soon, The Expanse. They had to wrap it up.
But they brought.
They did after season 3,
brought a
but then
season
Amazon
back.
redid another 3 seasons,
Yeah,
didn't they?
yeah.
So bringing it up to 6.
Yeah, but then there still was more to go.
Oh, yeah, of course there was still more. Yeah.
There's going to be
Season 5 and 6 is wank anyway. So, John, any honorable mentions? Fuck you. No,
just start.
Now, things
from-
were mentioned. It's like when the White Walkers attacked the wall in Game of Thrones. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, now say one that we haven't already said without Googling.
What was that?
You're living.
You're moody, mate.
No, that was one. But
You're living.
yeah,
Moving on.
We love you, John.
But
I
no,
thought I was busy today. Yeah,
I think we did a fair good ones there, guys. Someone want to go back? Like, I wouldn't mind going back to watching TNG and whatnot.
Yeah, I want to go back and watch stuff now.
But then I kind of want to go back and watch Dexter and stuff now. I really did enjoy that.
I must admit,
And
I
Nip Tuck.
loved Dexter.
I'm
and I'm
curious
glad
about
it came
Twin
back,
Peaks.
and I'm enjoying the new season. So yeah.
You've been warned about that, so just a heads up if you do.
Come on, I watch Cronenberg burgers.
That's nothing.
I mean, Cronenberg's.
Cronenberg burgers.
Cronenberg burgers.
Cronenberg films.
You're not in Cronenberg world, Morty.
no way.
I think we'll leave it there then, guys, yeah?
Sweet.
Yeah, nice. So, guys, if you like what you listen to, follow us on
Facebook at M.T.V.B podcast.
On Instagram at M.T.V.B podcast.
Or on TikTok at M.T.V.B podcast 197.
Guys, thank you very much for being on the show. I be Ant-Man along with...
No, thank you, and Grey Fox.
Thank you, and John Whiff.
Thank you, Dave.
Why is everyone thanking me? Thank you, guys. Good night.
Good night.